Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Hello, everybody. And here comes the raid. Incoming raid from the drive. Here they come. Can I be heard? Yes, I can be heard. It's a surprise raid. It's a surprise drive raid. They timed it absolutely perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. How amazing was that? Drive, welcome in. Welcome in. Jake the man for you. Sunshine the puppy, Gen Exendium. Seskimo's here. Sunshine, darkness, Wolfman, time for fun. How's everyone? Wolfman, because you got in before I forgot to turn it off. The redeems. Here's my Hail Hydrate. And Sunshine, Seskimo has not pressed any big red buttons yet. Misty, how we doing? How is everyone? Guys, if you're not already following... Oh no, pressing buttons. Shows you how what's going on. I'm doing well. I am doing well, guys. Where's Seskimo? Where's she at? She's hiding. We'll be getting her out any minute now. But before we do, if you're not already following the drive, you really should. The drive is the recipient of Canada's Jake the man for you. Thank you so much. In fact, you're so amazing that you actually just got me back to 1,000 followers. 1,000 followers, guys. We're back to 1,000 followers. Because I just went back down to 999 for a second. So let's drop some newts. Let's fire some fire. Let's get some confetti and let's get some dancers. Don't unfollow, guys. Don't unfollow. Hey. Woo. Yeah. Don't be unfollowing, guys. Yeah. Well, you know. But tonight's not the night for celebrating the 1,000 followers because that's not the, it's not what we're here for. We'll do that on Monday's stream. Monday's stream we'll do some celebration stuff for that. no, let's go. That is not for today, because tonight we are going to be meeting tonight's guest. Tonight's guest is for the Makers Vodcast, the one, the only, the Queen of Mean, the woman that does not draw noses, except that she does. The lovely. She is actually really lovely. Let me just make sure I'm going to totally unmute her. The wonderful Seskimo. There she is. Here she is.
Hello. I was going to try and be all evil there. I just can't. I couldn't stick the landing. Hello, everyone.
Look. She's here. She's totally...
It's working.
It's working. We have not broken Twitch tonight, guys. Twitch.
Yeah, Laser took the big red button away from me today. I wasn't allowed to touch that this time.
Yeah. I'm liking this. Last time Twitch time before the stream really started. No, not really. It was all Sessy's fault.
Yeah, entirely. I even said to you, like, I curse things and things break with me, and then things broke with me. It's great.
Yes.
Hello.
Oh, right. So welcome to the Makers Vodcast, Eskimo. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm better today than I was yesterday.
Superb. Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe that. I just could not believe that. We just started. Everything went down. We were all prepared, and Twitch decides just to have a flaky. But
it needed a break.
Yeah, totally. But being an amazing guest that you are, you said I'll come back tomorrow night, and we'll do it then.
I just don't have a life. That's my problem.
You don't have a life. You don't have a life. You've got 2 kids. You've got a Gen X. You've got a whole farm of animals.
I do. I'm surprised I'm not being attacked by a gambit right now.
Yeah, well, it was attacking you before we were going live.
It was. He's given up. He's realized he's not getting treats today.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yes.
for anyone that doesn't know you, give us a brief overview of what you do here on Twitch.
That's a good question. I fail at doing art. I fail at making things. I fail at keeping my chat in line. Things that I do. I do quizzes occasionally. I chat with my partner, who you might hear in the background. That's Genix. If nobody knows, Genix is my partner in crime. He's occasionally lurking in all my streams. And I'm mean to him. That's the main thing. I'm mean to him. I'm mean to you guys. I'm a very cynical person. That's pretty much me.
Really? You're very cynical.
I'm just a little bit jaded in life.
Really? And why is that? So
Well,
we're gonna get to the root of this tonight. This isn't a vodcast. This is an intervention. No.
Just waves at all of 2020.
Yeah. Oh, but yes. So you started partway through 2020 streaming.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that was because I was one of those people. Actually, I back in March when everything went, wrong.
yeah.
I'm trying not to swear on your stream.
You're allowed to swear. Don't worry. This is the one time you're allowed to swear.
Excellent. When it all went to shit.
Yep.
I was made redundant from my job. And although it wasn't actually because of COVID, it was funnily enough just about other stuff, and then COVID hit. And it was kind of like, yeah, so I'm not sure what to do. Let's do this whole freelance thing. And I was trying to figure out how to get me seen by people. And then I kind of watched you because I didn't have anything else to do during the day for a while. So I was like, oh, I'll go watch Laser. And I was like, oh, this is cool. People are nice here. Don't know if I fit in, but people are nice. And then I kind of started thinking, well, maybe if I just streamed my art, like I'll just sit quietly. People can go, oh, that's nice art, and then I kind of expected it to just be people come in, people leave again, and maybe they'll remember me. And so yeah, I kind of finally plucked up the courage. I think, yeah, it was June was my first stream. So I finally kind of did it. I think my very first stream, I didn't have a mic. I didn't have a webcam. It was literally just my art because I was too scared to have anything else.
Yep.
And that was because that's just terrifying. And then my first proper webcam was with Genix on the Saturday thing. And that was really, the Saturday thing was primarily just to get my confidence up. It was kind of, I felt if I had Genix by me, he was like my security blanket. so at least I had him kind of to be my, I can lean on him and deal with it. And it's just kind of, I've continued to do it, and the Saturdays we enjoy, so we've continued to do that. And I continue to, I've realized that I can't do art on my streams, because I get far too into the chat, and I just want to talk to everyone, and I just want to get involved.
Yeah. Well, the drive just asked, so what made you switch from art to just chatting?
What did see? I'm trying to ignore the chat right now because
Don't worry, I will tell you when there's a question that comes up in chat. Don't worry.
Excellent. So a switch from art. Yeah. So basically, the switch from art to just chatting was literally FOMO, the fear of missing out of what was going on in the chat. And you guys are kind of crazy, and so the chat was kind of always going. and I just kept chatting at the chat, and then I realized I was 2 hours in and had already put 3 lines on the paper, and so I was like, well, I did some art technically.
I do believe it was. How many stickers did you get made today, Seskimo?
Yes, we had the challenge of let's put bets on how many stickers I can draw in a session, and I think the best we did was
2.5.
2.5. Yeah, we didn't even get to 3. We got 2.5, and that was in a 2.5 hour stream. So, so not the best, but I've become very aware that art doesn't get made in streams at all.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I'm just loving the chat that's currently actually going on here. Just about say, like, that won't make mistakes. Just saying, can you confirm going live still terrifies them? And I think, and everyone else is kind of saying that as well. Like, saying, does it ever stop being terrifying? Does it ever stop being terrifying for you when you go live?
I have panic attacks. I literally, usually I'm late because I'm sitting there going, right, can we do this? Can I do this? Have I forgotten anything? And there's always something I've forgotten as well. It doesn't matter how many times I start the stream. There's always something. But I'm always so anxious about pressing that button. But I do it because if I don't, then I don't get to talk to you guys. So
yeah, and I'm exactly the same. Like, I'm doing this for, I don't know, am I getting a double thing here? Or am I coming through on your side? I can kind of hear myself.
Can you hear you? Hang on. Is that better? I've just put, it might be because.
I think that's better. Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh.
Am I hearing myself?
I'll turn you down a bit on mine. There we go.
Is that better? Is that better now? Yes, that's better now. Yep. I was just saying I could just hear me coming through, just as a kind of wee double thing. That's fine now.
There we go.
Perfect. Yeah. So yeah, I'm exactly the same, and it's that bit. If you're,
I don't have speakers on, so that's
Unless there's something weird happening. Am I coming through on somewhere else?
I'm not like, have I got you muted anywhere or unmuted?
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure it out. We're muted elsewhere because it's only just now. Well, technical issues. Always technical issues. It's Gen X. Gen X. Is it you, Gen X? Was it Gen X? It was Gen X, wasn't it? It was totally Gen X. Yep. It was Gen X. There we go. We figured it out.
Bad Gen X. If in doubt, blame Gen X.
Gen X, yep. Totally Gen X's fault. There we go. So where we're at, we're just talking about being terrifying. Like for me, I've been doing this for what, a year and 9 months now, something like that. It's I still haven't lost that fear.
That anxiety.
Like hitting that live button is still a scary prospect.
Yeah.
Like I hide it well.
You do. You had it very well.
Like we're going live, and we're just doing it.
You're so chill and so confident, and
because I've got to hide it well for when I do this show. But I'm still underneath. You don't see the paddling that goes on.
Yeah.
But
but it's all fun. It's all fun.
But I think the thing is, if it happens, if you happen to lose it, then it's just going to be one of those sort of things.
That's it. It's like it's funny because when the things go wrong, it's not as scary as the idea of them going wrong, which is kind of, we always play it off as 100% professional and things like that. People expect Twitch to go wrong. It's like, but it's still that anxiety of it going really wrong.
I'm just double checking I've not messed something up here, but I don't think I have. No. I'm terrified under the beard. I'm totally terrified under the beard. Yeah. I don't think Twitch is going to break again. I think it's just me or something I've done. But hopefully it's nothing major. I don't think it's too bad, hopefully, for people. And I'll keep fiddling in the background to try and fix it if I can. Yeah. So, what am I at? So you do two different sort of. You were doing two sort of different streams. You were doing your art streams, but you also on a Saturday night do your just chatting streams.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about these kind of just chatting streams? What are they all about?
They're just chatting. It's basically, so Genix and I kind of sit down on a Saturday night, kids are in bed, the week's done, and it's really just us just having fun, having a laugh, being really mean to people. This is a running theme. Anyone who doesn't know me, I'm mean to people. And we just we do quizzes sometimes if we can be bothered to make the quiz, but it's really just a place to kind of just have fun. I like to think that the just chatting our just chatting streams are really just a place people can come and let their hair down and just be silly, and as long as they don't break anything too much, like TOS wise, we're kind of chill on what gets done. Don't be I'm mean to people. I was going to say don't be mean to people. Don't be really mean to people. Be affectionately aggressive to people. But yeah, it's just kind of a lot of fun and a lot of randomness. I can't even really explain what it is. So there we go.
It's what I think of it as a free for all chat with a quiz thrown in. It's kind of like
yes.
it's kind of like being down the pub.
Exactly.
with the
That's
pub
what
quiz.
it is. It is. That's exactly what it is. It's like I try and think of like very vague topics, and I mean they are literally the most vague. We will literally be like in the car, and I'll go, "Oh, you know what we should talk about? We should just talk about me having a thing about cutlery." And like it'll just be like a thing. Like I'll make a little note. Like let's talk about things. I think like around Christmas time we were talking about Christmas lights, and that went on for I think about an hour of us arguing what order Christmas lights went on in a tree. And of course everyone knows it's lights, tinsel, ornaments, and that's kind of just. It's just so random. There's no like. It's not like we're going to talk about latest political topics or. Any kind of culture thing. Sometimes we talk about like what games we're playing or what shows we've watched, but it really is just like we hope that something springs to mind when we go live, and that's kind of one of the things I say about the Saturday stream is very much Genix and I are the hecklers in the stream. We're not the comedians. We just it's the chat who are the comedians, and then we just heckle them, and that's kind of how it works. We're just the ones kind of going, yeah, well, you're rubbish, and things like that. So it's kind of it's very reliant on us having a fun discussion with the chat. So that's kind of I need you, chat.
So there's two questions here. Misty's asking, who's got the drinks?
Well, I did drink at Christmas, but I generally don't drink. But I do have my
and then, Maybe Mistakes just made a comment. Statler and Waldorf was what you guys are.
I don't know Statler and Waldorf. The Muppets, yes, of course. God. Sorry, I just call them the grumpy guys. That's what they are, the grumpy guys.
Yeah. And if anyone's wondering who the voice from Beyond is, that's Genix.
Sorry, Mom.
Wonders.
Sorry. Like I say, I just call them.
Yeah, he is the other half. We'll call him the other half. We might not call him the better half. Sometimes might call him the better half.
I mean, really.
Yeah. Yes. It's yeah. How would you describe Gen X?
Oh God. I mean, do I have to describe him? He's, he is okay. So I pick on him a lot on the Saturday stream. That's kind of the thing. But I will say he picks on me during the week. So he's a lovable goofball who. How should I describe you, darling?
Would Gen X like to come and describe himself?
Come and describe yourself, darling.
I can't hear Laser though now. I'm me.
I don't know if you heard that.
Yep. We got an I'm me from him.
So there we go. That's Gen X.
There we go.
Yes. And yeah, we've been together over 10 years now, so you can imagine that we are at each other's throats all the time.
But you're so lovely together.
I mean, yes, if you find lovely, stabbing each other in the back at any possible opportunity.
That's how you've always been, though.
It is, isn't it? We kind of got together by, being mean to each other.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's just kind of funny because, like, me, Gen X and Seskimo have known each other for 10, 11 years now.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's like we've known each other for way before Twitch.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of thing where, it's like this the Twitch side of things is like it's new for all of us, really.
Yes. I have to ask you. I'm going to ask you a question on your show. Just kind of go. Do you think that the way Gen X and I act on the stream is how we act in person? Are we would you say that that's basically us down to a T?
Pretty much. I think a bit. You sometimes turn it up to 11.
Yes, just a little bit.
But it's pretty much how you guys are.
Yeah.
It's you aren't putting on an act in any sort of way. It is you guys, and it's always how you guys have been. Because I know sometimes people, and other, think, well, not for you guys, but in other channels that you see on like Twitch and YouTube, folk go, oh, that's just an act,
Yeah.
But it's like, no, you two are like so genuine.
It's like like you say, we do play it up a little bit, but I like to think we're kind of genuine. Oh, sorry, puppy. Sorry, puppy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Sunshine's asked, how did I meet you? I met you via Gen X.
Yes, yeah.
Because I've known Gen X longer than I've known you.
Yes.
So I've known Gen X through a LARP that we played together.
Yes. And I met Gen X. Well, I actually met Gen X about 12 years ago when I was with my then fiance. I met him through a gaming group. Only briefly. I kind of talked to him a little bit, but we didn't become friends. And then shortly after my then husband left me, I went out for a party and I met Gen X again, and we just kind of hit it off. And then I kind of met you, and then kind of I met all of the people.
All the people, yeah.
All the people.
Yes, all the crazy people that I know.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. And then you went, oh my God, why does Willow know all these weird people? And you still didn't run away.
I mean, he tied me down. I'd like had to run with shackles on your legs.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were you were my people.
Yeah.
So, you're the type of people that I like, the type of weirdos. That,
Exactly. The TOS alarm's going off now as well.
Sorry, I don't even realize I'm doing TOS stuff anymore. It's just
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put a total mature warning on this one.
I apologize for nothing.
Exactly. Oh.
So yeah.
Brilliant. So you've got, as I'm saying, you've got your Saturday night show, which is absolutely amazing, guys. If you're not following Seskimo for her, even just for her Saturday night show, you really should, because it's mad, it's crazy. You never know what's going to happen. Genix is there.
Yeah.
I know that's it can either be a hit or a miss with Genix being there, but
Yeah, I'm surprised anyone joins with Genix there. I will warn you that we do swear a lot. It's a very sweary channel, so just be warned if you do join. But yeah, it is a great place to kind of for everyone to come and chat. If you just want to be a bit crazy. At least I hope it's a great place. I'm just could be rubbish really, but no, come and join me. But don't join me. But come and join me.
Well, I just love this one from Michi though. Weird is not an insult. Embrace that weird. Be happy and odd than miserable and ordinary. I can't even speak. Exactly.
100% agree.
Yeah, we revel in being the weird, outcasty people. it's exactly where we are. We found our tribe here. That's the thing.
Yeah. That's it.
Because that is the thing. Like you like in especially on the Saturday nights, you've cultivated yourself a community there.
I'm so happy with the people that I know. I tell them that I hate them all the time, but I really do I just love you guys. Like I just love how crazy it is, and it's the type of people that I would hang out with in real life. And I think that's great. Like QCat, for instance, QCat's one of my mods. She actually just lives near us. I didn't realize this. I only met her through Twitch. But she's not here to defend herself, but I consider us friends now. So we're always chatting on Discord and things like that now. And it's just it's so great, the people who you get to meet in Twitch, who you may not have, even people who literally just live 5 minutes away, you might not have never met you might have never met them before Twitch, and it's just give you all a big hug.
Exactly. And that's that's that lovely thing. You've created that community. You've made the links between other streamers, other viewers. All these lovely people that have just become part of your life.
Exactly.
And it's even if they're living at the other side of the world.
Yeah.
It's
exactly.
You've got that connection.
It's great. It's I've kind of said this before. I would rather have only 10 people in my chat, of people who I really kind of get, than having 1,000 people of people who are kind of just there for a bit and gone. I'd rather have a small community and feel that, seething hatred for them.
Exactly. And it's, and that's the thing where you've got, people, everyone's chatting and talking and sharing and doing all that sort of thing. And it's not just, 100 people saying PogChamp and you can't even say that now. But yeah, it's that sort of thing. Oh.
No, sunshine. I don't like you. No, I do love you guys. You're all great, even if I can't control you sometimes.
Brilliant. So, shall we have a look at some art?
I mean,
that's why we're here. Really, is to talk about you and art.
Do we have to?
Makers. Yeah. Well, I thought that's why we were here.
False presenters. I've actually brought you here.
Oh, all right. No, we're not. You're not taking over. I know what you're like. Oh.
Let's look at some
So we start talking about your journey in art.
My journey.
Your journey in art. Let's jump over to the right one here. Let's jump here. Right. So first of all, where did the name come from? Is probably the thing to start off with.
So I mean, I am so I am Seskimo. And the Seskimo part, it actually originated when I was about, it must have been when I was about 11. So growing up, my real name is Sarah, but everyone called me Sez. And then I went to secondary school and I made friends with a Japanese girl, and she would call me Seski. And then it just kind of started growing to Seskimo. Like all of our friends started calling me Seskimo because she would call me Seski. And it just kind of it grew from there. And I kept it because I was like, you know what, I quite like it. Let's just call me Seskimo, because it was better than Sez, because everyone's anyone who's called Sarah is usually Sez or Saz or, and I just wanted something a little different. And then the crafty Seskimo came about because there was a company who had taken the name Seskimo to make stuff. They were making these iPhone holders, and they'd taken the URL Seskimo. And I was like, well, what am I going to name myself? Because they've got Seskimo. They don't have the trademark for art. They had it for these little things. So I can still be Seskimo, but I can't be Seskimo on my URL. So I need something. And then I was like, well, I am crafty, and it's quite a pun because I'm also a very cunning and crafty person. So it was kind of a development of crafty Seskimo. And that's so the crafty Seskimo part, I've actually got 3 name things now. So there's the artful Seskimo, the crafty Seskimo, and then the Seskimotes. So those are kind of my businesses. But the Seskimo part, which is that main bit that kind of brings them all together, that was a nickname that I've had since school, basically. So
Brilliant. So that, I love that. You've kind of got that branding going on there as well with the crafty, the arty, now Seskimotes. We'll get into the the Mark Cordskin is better crafty Seskimo than creepy Seskimo.
Well, I mean, there could be a new one for spy equipment. I'll be creepy Seskimo.
Oh, so you're branching out there as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, so you sent me a whole load of photos.
I'd sent you so many photos.
You sent me so many photos. But the first one that we're going to look at is, we're going way back here. We're going way back, and look at this. Who's this?
It's innocent times.
Very young Seskimo.
Very young. You get to guess which one is me in both those photos. You'll never guess. I am the one pulling the face in both photos. So yeah, I'm the youngest. By the way, the boy there is a family friend. He's not a brother or anything. He's just a family friend. So I have an older sister. Yeah, that's me right there. Pulling the faces. I could never take a serious photo, even as a child. So I grew up, my mum is in that photo, and my mum was the creative person that I got my kind of creative genes from, or creative flair from. She was always creating things. She was either painting on the walls, or she was cross-stitching, or she was making dresses. There was always some craft or some art that she was doing, and I kind of I picked that up from her. And it was, but the thing about my mum, my mum was lovely, but she was quite the critical artist mother. she wasn't one of these people that would put every single picture up on the fridge that a child made. It was like it had to be of a certain quality for it to go up on the fridge. So if you got your picture up on the fridge, you know it was a good piece of art that you did. And I always remember there's this one piece that I did. I think I was about 6 or 7, and it was done at like primary school, and it was a recreation of the Van Gogh sunflowers. And I just remember bringing that home, and my mum was so in love with it. Like I'd never seen her so in love with a piece of my art before, and that went up on the wall. Like it wasn't even on the fridge. That went up on the wall. Like she was in love with it, and I just kind of like I felt so proud of that because my mum loved it, and it wasn't just she was never mean about art. She was like, oh, that's nice, but there was never kind of like that. Oh, that's wonderful. And this first time I remember her being in love with this picture, and that just kind of has stuck with me, and I just kind of wanted to do more art. I've always done art. Like I pretty much ever since I could hold a pen, I've been drawing. I don't remember not drawing on everything and anything. If I could draw on it, it was drawn on. So that was my early childhood. That's where I've got my creativity, and you can see that I'm as insane as I was as a child. So
But that's brilliant. Make mistakes asking, did you call the fridge the Louvre?
It was a very barren Louvre. No, I didn't call it. I mean, I was 6. I wouldn't know what the Louvre was then. I would have thought you meant the toilet, but you know.
Oh, brilliant. So, are you the only artist in the family, or?
Now, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, my sister was the mathematical one, like my dad, because my dad's he's an accountant, or he's now semi-retired accountant, but my sister she was the math one, and I was very much the creative one. So very two different types of personalities with me and my sister there.
Nice. Oh, so when you sent me these photos, I'm like, oh, I could spot you a mile away just with those. You know, it was like, oh, that's definitely says there, totally you, totally you.
Yeah, my mum always wanted me. Oh, I've got a funny story that you might like. So my mum always kind of wanted me to be a bit of a girly girl. She always tried to dress me up in dresses and things, and she sent me to ballet when I was little. And I don't remember this, but apparently they asked me to leave ballet because I kept headbanging to the music instead of actually doing the dancing. So they very, very politely said, I don't think that she's fit for the ballet. And that's pretty much me.
Round of applause for that. Totally worth it. Setting you up for later life, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Oh, brill. Oh, right. I love this as well. This is like an amazing kind of representation of kind of your journey of your art.
Yeah.
You know, just from a single character that you've drawn over the years.
Yeah, that's my lovely Elzebub. So that's kind of an original character of mine, or as we call in the artiste world, an OC. So if I say OC at any point, that's what I mean. So yeah, I kind of all the way back. So the very first one, the 2003, I was still very new to like digital art and things, and not very good. Well, not very good with like anime kind of stuff. I was still learning anime. I kind of found the world of anime and manga around this point, and I was kind of like, I was obsessed. And my dad said it's only going to be a phase, and here we are several years later. It's not a phase. So I was kind of still, you know, I was just drawing anything that looked kind of anime or manga-ish, and I mean, the proportions are wrong. The body's a bit, you know, broken ribs and all that. You know, at the time it's kind of funny because it's one of those things that at the time I was really proud of that first one. I was like, yay, this is great. It's colored and, you know, it's wonderful. And then it's kind of like looking back at it and it's just, and it's awful to look at because I'm just so embarrassed how bad it is. But it's also kind of like, yes, I'm not like that anymore. That's not my art anymore. And then kind of it slowly progress. And I kind of think you can see through it like different things, like different styles that have like inspired me throughout. So it's kind of, you know, kind of a bit better at the kind of anime, but also a bit more Western comic a bit later on. And then I tried to go a bit more realism kind of style, and then it went even further into realism. And then I just did a 180 and went back to kind of, you know, comic style, Western, Eastern manga comic style. And that's kind of where I'm at right now, is kind of really into sort of trying to make it look real but stylized cartoon at the same time. And I've really like I'm really at the moment, my thing is getting to grips with the lighting and the shadows and really playing about with, you know, techniques of how to do that and things like that. So that's me in over nearly 20 years or so. I can't do maths. 17 years?
Yep, 17.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that amazing thing that, you know, when you do go back and look over your kind of body of work over a period of time and kind of go, okay, this was me when I started. You know, it's not that you were bad. It was just that was my skill level at that time.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, because, you know, if you continue to do it, you're always going to improve, because you're going to learn new techniques. You're going to just improve just because you're going to get better at it.
Yeah, because you kind of pick up on the bits that that are going wrong, and you kind of see them and go, okay, I can change that bit. And it's all a small progression. It's progressing the small things, because I think people think that it should be like you draw something wrong, you look at it and you go, okay, I know everything that's gone wrong. Now I can draw it perfectly. And that's really not how art progresses. You learn the little bits, like you pick up on the small details, you improve those, and then you kind of go back and improve more bits. And it is a slow kind of, but worthwhile progress if you want to do it. This is kind of, I'm very much in the camp of everyone can be an artist, but you really have to want to be an artist. Like you have to want to be disappointed is kind of one of the things. You have to want to like see the stuff and go, I know it's wrong, I know it's not right, but I want to get to that next level. And I think for some people that's fine. That's not what they want to do. They're like, I've drawn something and that's okay. And you know, I've drawn something that's going to be my level because that's what I'm fine with. But I think you really gotta push yourself through the disappointment is what I've learned.
You know, and it's things like trying to get an understanding of things like lighting, and all that sort of thing. Because like Sunshine's saying there, the fabric in the last one looks so real, and that's because, like, to me, you know, you've got the lighting working so well on it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah. Like I said, I'm really kind of working on the lighting and the shadows at the moment. It's kind of funny because when you see, like, if you saw that when I was still kind of just coloring it in, it doesn't, it kind of goes through a stage of kind of looking good, really bad. And then it goes back to being good again. There's that big dip where you're like, it's usually around the kind of flat coloring stage where it just, you have this moment where you think, oh, it's all gone wrong. And you kind of just have to realize that it's not gone wrong. You just haven't finished it yet, and you need to finish it. And I think that's kind of, for instance, like if I didn't do the light on that, if I'd just done the shadowing, it would look wrong. But it's getting past the bit where it looks a bit wrong and getting to the bit where it looks better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like that, Mr. Frightful. By the time you've done 30 terrible looking feet, you've practiced toes 150 times. You know.
Exactly.
You know, it's all that. You know, and and like, you know, for art and like any sort of crafting artistic projects, it's the same. You know, it's like that repeatability. You know, working at it. You know, learning the nuances of it all. It's you start off with the basics, and then you start finding those little bits that just up the level.
Yeah.
That just start. You suddenly go, oh, this is just going to make it so much better.
Yes.
In the end,
exactly.
sometimes people don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
As well.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, like I like my big thing is watching other people do art. Like I will sit for hours watching other people do art and picking up on how they've done things, and adding that to what I've done and improving like what I'm doing by just stealing everyone's ideas is effectively the best artists steal.
It's not stealing, it's being inspired by.
It's being inspired by, yes. And it's just about going through it, repeating, making changes, and also about finding what works for you as well, because like some people will have a very different way of approaching stuff. Like art isn't a you do it this way and only this way. It's about, well, you can do it this way, but you can also do it this way, and you can do it that way, and you can combine bits. And it's about experimenting with those as well and seeing what fits for you. Because when I was kind of growing up, so I'm mostly self-taught. I consider myself self-taught, and a lot of the problems I was having early on is that people said you had, like when I was looking through books and like watching videos and things, it's like you have to draw like this, and it's like, well, that doesn't fit with me. It doesn't make sense to me to draw like that. And it's like playing about with that as well. So it's really about finding what sits well with you.
Yeah, exactly. It's, and that, well, like I've always said as well, it's that passion. And unless you've got the passion when you're doing what you're doing, it's you're not going to do the best job.
Yes.
And like you're saying, if you're being told you have to draw it this way, you're not really going to be passionate about it, are you?
Exactly.
So like for this piece that you done in 2020, how long did that take to actually put together, to create?
Oh God, I see. It's hard. It's always hard when someone asks me that, because it's like, because I do it in. I don't always sit and do it in one go. I'm very kind of. I'm all about the place. I don't know if you realize that.
Or kind of estimated kind of.
I would say probably 5-ish hours. I would say in total. For something like that, it's usually around a 5-hour mark. If it was like a full body, it might be more 8 hours. Just because, like, even with just adding legs, you've got to work out, what looks right, like in terms of positioning. Really kind of to every bit of body part that you add, basically, you have to add a couple of hours.
And the one thing we've got to mention is she's got a nose.
Damn it! Sorry, let me fix that. I'll just get a pen. Hang on. Yes. Believe it or not, I actually only drew faces with noses on for many years.
So we explain what the whole nose thing is.
Yes, I suppose so. So basically, my chat are mean to me, and they pick on me, and because I do a very chibi style for like my stickers. So anyone who doesn't know what chibi is, basically that's just a Japanese word for small, and kind of small in a cute way, basically. But it's also an art style where everything's quite simplified and cute. And so I draw like for my stickers and things, and even for like I have an icon that is kind of a cartoon version of me with no nose. So yeah, and I that because those were my early art streams of me drawing stickers, people very quickly picked up on the fact that they didn't have noses, and so that has now become a running joke. It doesn't matter what I do or what I make. There is always the question, does it have a nose? And it's just like, Do you know what? I'm fine with it. I'm fine because when you're mean to me, I'm twice as mean back. So.
I was going to be asked at some point.
Oh, I knew. The temptation to just find all the pictures that just had no noses and just send you no nose pictures.
Yeah. There was also the temptation of putting the nose picture I created into this PowerPoint.
Oh. Why didn't you do that? Would have been perfect.
No, because I wasn't subjecting everyone to the nose picture. Because it freaks people out no matter what. So.
Oh, it haunts my dreams even now.
It's disgusting. I'm not, basically I created a nose with a face that had a nose.
Yeah.
Just to
yeah, it was horrifying.
Freak people out. It was a nose with a face and a nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked wrong. It looked awfully wrong.
So wrong.
And it's on Seskimo's Discord. It's on my Discord.
Yeah, I was going to say it's on a Discord somewhere.
It's on Discord. It's floating around somewhere. If you search on Discords, you will find it. Type in nose, it will show up. So let us look at one of your very first digital pieces. This is it here.
This is where I cringe. So yeah, this was again around 2000. I think no, not 2003. When was it? It was when I was about. I know it was around the start of when. This is how far back it was going. When DeviantArt was still quite brand new. Like there weren't that many people on it.
According to this, it was January the 6th, 2003.
It was 2003. I was thinking, was it 2003?
Yeah.
So yeah, fairly early on then. Was I doing art before then? I can't remember. No, it must have been around then. But yeah, sort of around the start. I'd got a Wacom Intuos 4, like one of those kind of pad ones, for Christmas, and I was just really kind of learning how to do digital art. I had no idea how to do anything, and there wasn't really anything like YouTube, and not the way we have it now. Like, so I just had to kind of play about and find information as I could. And I mean, it's not great. It's actually, I don't know if anybody ever played Neopets. That's a Neopet. But it was, yeah. So it's kind of, it's rubbish. It's just, it's, yeah. I look at it and again, I cringe because I thought at one point that was really good, and it's just knowing better now. It's like I can see everything that's wrong with it, and I could, just change it all. But that's kind of one of the things I like doing, as well as I love going back on my old art and then trying to redo it now. Like that's a good way to kind of, like with the Elzebub one, it's always fun to kind of redo the pieces that you did and just see how much you've progressed. So and I think that's even, do I have Comic Sans as my signature at the bottom there? I think that's Comic Sans.
It looks kind of Comic Sans.
I use Comic Sans. Oh my God.
Oh. Yeah,
I was young.
That's a bannable offence, isn't it now? Bannable offence, Comic Sans.
Oh, that's awful.
But,
Yeah.
But, again, at the time, you thought that was good.
Yes,
and,
exactly.
Compared to what I could do, even now, that is good. Like, I can't do a stick man. So, you've got, on the scale of things, it's good.
I think there's always that thing where you've kind of got to remember that there's always going to be, like, you might feel rubbish. There's always going to be people who are better than you. That's true. But there's always going to be people who are worse than you as well. Yeah. And so it's kind of just remembering that you are where you are. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be there. And just don't feel bad because there are people who are better than you. Yeah. Feel better because there are people that are worse than you.
It's that bit where you should never really be comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's
because
it.
that's actually the way of putting yourself off doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, the minute you start comparing yourself to someone else and
Yeah.
whatever you're doing, so like if you're making a piece of, you know, so kind of digital art, if you're streaming, you know, if you're doing any sort of craft, anything like that, the minute you start comparing yourself to someone else is the minute you start kind of getting that moment, you know, you start going, oh, I'm not doing as well as them. And you will get demotivated so quickly.
Exactly. It's very much be inspired by people, don't be jealous of people is kind of the thing. And it is, especially if you're doing it from a younger age, it's difficult to get over that mindset of, oh, they're better than me. So that means I'm rubbish. It's like, it doesn't equate. It's just, chances are they've been doing it a lot longer than you as well. And, you know, and just don't compare yourself. You are where you are and you will get to where you want to be as long as you put in the time and the effort, basically.
Exactly. You know, look at, you know, again, going back to, you know, your previous one, you know.
Yeah.
You know, you put in the time, the effort, you know, and you can see the progression, you know, even between like those, what was that, 7 years, 8 years, you know, a monumental difference between those 7 years. And then, you know, 4 years, you know, like, you know, it's exponential, really.
Yeah.
When you start looking at it.
It's kind of funny because the gaps get a bit smaller, but I feel like a lot of the development kind of gets a bit more, not better, but like it gets more
refined.
Complex. Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah. I like this one from Make Mistakes. It's a motto for me. The only person you need to try to be better than is the person you were yesterday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also better than Gen X. Everyone should be better than Gen X.
Yeah. And Sunshine was the same. Feel good because you're better than you were yesterday. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. So, what have we got up next? What's this one? Well, let me get the right thing. Where am I? Here we are. So, tell us about this.
Back in the days, there used to be this program. It's still around, actually, called Open Canvas. But back then, it was a freeware thing, and you could do everyone could. It was like this whiteboard, and you'd have other people coming in and drawing with you. So you kind of just went in and you would there was a chatting bit, although we mostly just scribbled notes, like you can see here. So the character there is Lydia. She's one of my old OCs. And then people were just drawing bits around her, and just adding stuff. And it was one of the early ways that, you know, I found an online community. That was kind of in the old days, before Twitch and things like that. And even before, I don't think Twitter was around then, or if it was so early that, you know, there wasn't really as big a community. But this is where the digital artists came to hang out, basically, and that's and I actually met someone there, who kind of became a bit like my mentor, and I feel really bad because younger me was probably really annoying and irritating, and yet he was so nice, and he always he was very patient with me, and he always helped me out. Like, he would draw bits with me and stuff like that, and he was like great for me to kind of bounce stuff off of, and that was it was kind of a really nice way to kind of hang out with other digital artists, and it was a lot of fun. And sadly, they got rid of that feature on the Open Canvas, but I'm sure there's other programs out there that allow you to do this, but this was where I used to hang out in the old days. It was just a lot of fun, and lots of crazy art that ended up coming out of it. But this was kind of one of the more gruesome ones that we did.
So it's quite a collaborative effort then. A lot of the time.
It was, yeah. It was I think you would get about 5 or 6 people, maybe. I think, it wasn't that many people who could come in, but maybe 5 or 6 people would come in, and you would just be drawing. And it usually ended up being that someone would start drawing something, and then someone would add bits to it, and then it would almost be like a story of there's this character, but then someone's drawn this other thing, and now there's like a werewolf in the background, and suddenly this like little girl who was just having a picnic is now this murderous vampire going off killing things. Just a lot of fun, and it was really a really great way to be creative because you are creating with other people in real time as well, and you just kind of bounced ideas off of people. And most of the time people didn't ruin other people's art. Like, they were usually banned if they would come in and ruin people's art. It was kind of the thing that you didn't add on top of other people's art unless they let you. You kind of had to draw around other people's art. But it was a great community, and I'm kind of sad that it's no longer available to do that anymore.
Yeah. Oh. But that sounds like such a great way of kind of creating another kind of community there for you.
Exactly.
That you're and getting so much inspiration for kind of pushing your art forward.
Exactly. It was one of the best ways, especially because this is again early days of me doing digital art. So it was really a great way for me to practice, because I was watching other people drawing other stuff as well. And maybe because I couldn't see the way they were doing the strokes and things, but I could see how they were laying things out, and I could try and do something similar. And it was a really great way to just, and like I said, like I've got someone, and I still talk to him now. The guy who became my mentor, like we still, not as much, but we do still, like, we're on Facebook together and things like that. So it was my early days of knowing what a internet community was like, basically. It was really good.
So what can you tell me about this character here?
Rose. So
because this one you seem to do a lot.
This is Rose. Rose is my muse. She's one of my most original OCs. She's a character who she was originally like a story idea that I had like many years ago, but I kind of quickly started drawing her when I didn't know what else to draw. I would get into like these artist blocks, and I'd get so frustrated with my art. So, and I always found that I felt very comfortable drawing her. So she was basically, when I didn't know what else to draw, if I needed to get out of an art block, she would be drawn. And also I would use her to experiment with like styles and things, because I knew her so well that I didn't have to really worry about, how I was drawing her. I could worry more about like the technique that I was using to draw her. And she's very close to my heart. And that center one is like the most recent one that I did of her, which is a bit dark. She's not meant to be that dark and evil looking, but I think I was having a bad day. So
it's a bit crazy looking, but it's still it's an amazing piece that you've created there.
Yeah.
But
so, and this is before I knew what like furrydom was. So
is she your OC?
She is my OC. She's my OG OC, my original OC. She's a firm favorite. I actually haven't drawn her that was drawn mid 2020, that last one. But I haven't drawn her really in months. I think I've just been doing so many other things that I have not had time to just sit and draw her. But again, I think as well you can see like the progression of my art through her here in different styles and things, which is again always fun to see.
But it's that bit where it's for you being able to kind of have something that when you're not kind of creating something, or you've got that bit of block, you can just kind of go, all right, I'm just going to get something out, totally for yourself.
Exactly. It's just a guilty pleasure in a way, just sitting, drawing her, and not worrying about whether it looks good or not. And I think that's the thing, is when you get into an art block, you really need to just let go. Like, I think sometimes for some people who get into art blocks, it's very much they're overthinking, and that's kind of you just need to kind of just let it happen. Art will come back. And she's a good way for me to just not care and just draw. And I think the reason I ended up like drawing a anthropomorphic character was partly because I'm not having to worry too much about human features and things like that. So you can kind of get away with things being a bit wrong, like a bit more with an anthro than you can with a human picture. So I think that kind of helped as well.
Yeah. And it's again kind of the same for a lot of people that make, having something that you can just jump into when you're kind of stuck.
Yes. As Sunshine says, the comfort zone in a way.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly, a comfort zone. Just being able to kind of go, all right, like again for like me, sometimes when I just have like so much client work, that you're just constantly churning it out, and you're just like, this, and then you just kind of get that little bit moment when you're just like, oh, I can't be doing this anymore, or I'm just sick of trying to figure out how to make this fit.
Yeah.
How's this going to work? Exactly. I'll just then go and just make something for me.
Yeah.
And if it's just something small on the laser or faffing about on the CNC,
Exactly.
And I think everyone should just do that at times. Even if it's not making something.
Exactly. Just have a bit of fun. I think your brain needs to kind of have that downtime as well, where you're not really thinking about it, like, and you're just having fun, just being silly, just doing something silly and small, and not always trying to push for perfection. Like, just sometimes
that's the thing. I think a lot of people do get caught up in that perfection. Perfection.
Well, yes.
Because that perfection in kind of the art and making world is so subjective.
That's it. I think that's what it took me years to really understand, because I was always pushing for perfection, and it took me real years to realize that, like, what am I trying to achieve? What is perfection? Like, for if I'm doing something, could that not just be perfection there at that moment? Like, there is no perfection. Nothing is perfect. Everything is flawed. So, you're trying to achieve the impossible, and so don't do it. Just
exactly. It's it's the Mr. Frightful's got it perfect there. Perfect is the opposite of finished.
Exactly. Yeah, one of my favorite things, I think it was Neil Gaiman who said this, is done, not perfect. And that just kind of, because I was kind of stopped. I wasn't drawing. I was kind of not completing a lot of art that I was doing. At one point, it was like I was doing lots of sketching, and then I was just like, it's not good enough, and it's not good enough, and I'm not going to finish it. And it's just like, well, what am I learning from not finishing it? I'm not learning anything. I'm stopping before I can see the final product. And it's like what I was saying before. You kind of get to a point where things start looking good, and then they might start looking bad again. But that's okay, because you can always work on making it look better, and don't like overthink about, is this done? It's done when you start making it go, like, overworking, basically, but finding out when that overworking point is can be a tricky thing to learn, and I'm kind of learning that at the moment. Overworking can almost ruin it, because you're trying too hard to make it better. So sometimes you just got to stop. You just got to go, it is done. It is finished. Put it down. Walk away. Yeah.
Yeah. So before you were on Twitch, I saw in the notes that you gave me, you tried a bit of YouTube.
Yes, I did. Yes.
How did that go?
I mean, it wasn't too bad. It was one of the hardest things was trying to get a video out a week, because at the time I was still working. So even though I was only working part-time, I was kind of drained, and I was having to do a piece, because I would do speed painting. That was kind of my YouTube thing. So I had to finish a piece, which would be 5 or 6 hours, 8 hours, and I had to compress that down into 15 to 20 minutes. And then, sometimes I would do voiceover on it, so I would talk about it. And it was great, but it was very time consuming. And then I kind of stopped doing the YouTube because I didn't have that energy to keep churning out a new video each week. And I think that's what I like about Twitch, is that you do it and that's it. That time that you put into doing it, you're done. Like you can make it into a YouTube video if you want to, but once you stop recording or you stop streaming, you don't have to go and edit anything. And that's the great thing about it. So I definitely prefer Twitch in that regard to doing YouTube videos. But I would like to go back to doing YouTube videos, but maybe not speed painting so much, maybe more just general art challenges, or I don't know what I would do. I kind of thought of maybe turning the Saturday streams into a YouTube video or something, but I'm not sure that would really work so much. But it's a thing that I would like to go back to, but maybe not in the art speed painting thing that I had originally intended to do. And also the videos, I did actually end up privatizing the videos that I had put up because of the whole controversy with YouTube getting fined, and then they were going to if your video wasn't set as kids, for kids,
Yeah.
and they decided that it was for kids, then they would fine you. And it's kind of a case of, my stuff isn't for kids, but the type of people who are deciding this don't understand anime and manga art, so they would see a cartoon character and they'd think, well, that's obviously for kids because it's a cartoon character. So I kind of I pulled back on that and I privatized everything, just so that I didn't get into trouble. So it's a shame that all that happened.
Yeah, that whole side of things really messed things up for a lot of artists, really.
Yes, really did. I know a load of channels that I watch, they were convinced that they were going to end up being just non-searchable, and they would have to be demonetized and things like that. And I think most of them are at the moment still okay, but it is a case of, if the what's the governing body that decides it? Basically, if they decide that no, that is for kids, then that's them fined. It's $42,000 per video as well, which is just insane. And it's just, so sadly YouTube's not something that I do right now. But this piece here is one of the first pieces that I did as a speed painting. In fact, it was the first piece that I did as speed painting on my YouTube. So and I'm still kind of proud of that piece. There's a lot of flaws, but
It's a lovely piece.
I'm not ashamed to show it like I am my earlier pieces.
Up next, we've got what you've affectionately termed your blue phase.
My blue phase. This is my blue phase. Yes. So I kind of went through. Well, I still like this style, and I do go back to it occasionally. But I kind of became obsessed with the contrast of the dark, desaturated background with the highlights, and especially the eyes, because I'm obsessed with drawing eyes. That's my favorite thing to draw on a face, is the eyes. So I kind of went through a phase of just drawing everything in this style, and it's just it's a very fun way to do it. And in fact, one of the pieces, so I was doing a lot of, on my Twitter account, I used to do kind of prompt me type things where I'd ask people on Twitter, tell me some random prompts, and I'll do sketches of them. And so one of those pieces did end up being like one of my first commission pieces of 2020. But that was all of the prompts were me drawing in this kind of blue phase. And also that picture there is from one of your photos.
I was going to mention that.
Top left is
I was going to say that. This one here. It's
that's a reference.
One taken from one of my own photography images.
I wasn't sure whether to send you the picture. Well, he's got that picture. Why would I send it to him? Yes, that is one of Laser's photographs that I then recreated in my blue phase. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I find it's better for my eyes to draw on a desaturated darker background than to draw on white. I actually, whenever I'm doing art, I don't do it dark like that, but I do kind of a beige background now, because it's not as glaring, so it's easier to, I don't know what it is, it's easier to feel my way around the piece basically when I'm not having white on my eyes. And so that's one of the reasons why I quite like changing the background, and I don't know, I'm just playing and experimenting really. So that was my blue phase. I believe Picasso had a blue phase as well.
So you're, as long as you're not cutting off your ear, it's just you're just cutting off the side of your hair.
Just beside, this is the modern ear cutting. Is the hair.
Yes. But like with the kind of the color sort of thing, and it's, I know for some people that's just kind of a brain thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just it works so much better for them not to have that kind of that stark contrast.
Yeah, it's like when I'm reading, I'm one of these people that highlights the wording if it's on the screen. I'll highlight it so that it's a black background with the white text, because I find that's so much easier to read than it being the white background with the black text thing. But maybe that's why I find it just a lot nicer to have that kind of darker background. What's Genix going on about?
You have to keep an eye on him, don't you? You got to totally keep an eye on him. He's
this is why I mean
again. He's on about nosies again.
Because I've not been shouting at him for 5 minutes.
He's getting into trouble. That's what he's doing. He's totally getting himself into trouble.
Stop it!
No.
So we're kind of getting into kind of some of the stuff that you're kind of more known for on Twitch now.
Yeah.
So kind of some of the vectory sort of stuff that you're kind of doing.
Oh, no nose.
yeah, look at that. Now, does that manatee count as having a nose?
Ooh. I mean, that's a horn, so I don't think you can count that as a nose.
Did you talk about that manatee? Like I've got. I've got that. Okay.
Only a select few people got those Christmas cards. But I only started doing vector art back in March. So this was the girl with the pink hair was my first vector art piece, as I was kind of learning how to do vector art. So I use Affinity Designer because I just can't afford to pay Adobe on a monthly basis at the moment. And honestly, I find personally that Affinity and Clip Studio Paint, they do the things that I need them to do. So because I'm not worrying too much about like compatibility issues with anything, and so the vector stuff, as long as I can save it as an SVG, that's fine for anything that I need to send out to people. And But yeah, I kind of, I don't even know, I don't remember why I started. Oh, I do remember why. So I started doing the vector stuff because Affinity Designer had dropped their prices by 50%, and I thought, well, I'm going to buy 50% off software to play with while I've got nothing else to do. So I picked it up, and it's in all fairness, vector art is something that I have wanted to get into because it's one of those things that, you know, you see it being done for like logos and things like that, and even just cool designs like bag designs and things like that. So it's a very useful kind of method of art to learn, but I never really had the time or really the confidence to learn it until this year. And I feel that I am definitely like understanding it a lot more than that first time that I did it. Like it probably doesn't look it, but there's a lot more structure and information gone into that narwhal than into the girl. Like the little individual lights that I had to put on and reposition. And I really need to figure out if there's another way to do that. But I'm kind of picking it up, and again, this is just me learning and playing and kind of understanding each and every time that I do something. So this is, it's a fun thing. It's not, I wouldn't do it for most of my art, but I do like it. I like the look of vector art for certain things, and it's also like I say, vector art's useful for when you're making logos and things like that, which is kind of something that I do.
Yeah, like, you know, if, Affinity Designer is actually a really good piece of software. I'm, as much as I'm using Illustrator for most of my stuff, I'm really considering moving over to Affinity. So I have it because I got it in the Black Friday sale because it was in sale. And the only thing it lacks at the moment is the image trace.
Yes. Yeah. So I use Inkscape. I hate Inkscape with a passion, but the only thing that's useful for is the drawing bitmap. So, but yeah, it's the one thing that I think they are trying to work at getting into Affinity Designer, but I don't think that's going to be until their next launch. Yeah.
What I'm looking at is a program called Vector Magic, which does that, you know. So that's, because again, it's, you're not having to pay Adobe extortionate amounts of money every month.
Obscene amounts of money.
You know, and that's the, you know, it's like, do I really need to be paying that amount of money to Adobe every month when there's a program there that I can pay, I now have it, and that is it.
That's it.
You know.
I'd rather have like 3 programs like that I've paid for once that will do the same stuff that I need from like Adobe, like Illustrator or Photoshop. I'd rather have 3 programs that I put things through than having to pay so much money for a monthly subscription to something I don't own. You know, I rent it. But yeah, Affinity is great, and I think it's actually a lot more user friendly, or I found it more user friendly once I got the hang of it than when I tried Adobe Illustrator. I mean, this was years ago, so it's probably gotten better now, but I did try Illustrator years ago, and I could not get my head around it. But Affinity, I got quite into very quickly. Once I'd watched a couple of videos, and once I understood like the basics, it's like you can do anything once you understand the basics. And I think, like I say, that was years ago. Adobe Illustrator might be better now, but I feel like the designer is. So if anybody needs a recommendation, Affinity Designer, all the way.
Yeah, so far, because like, you know, I think Diorama Llama's moved over, or is moving over as well. So it was him that recommended it to me as well, to give it a try.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, I'll buy it because it was fairly cheap, especially in the sale.
Yes, that's
But-
the other good thing. These
Yeah.
type of softwares, like when they do sales, like Clip Studio Paint, which is the one that I do for my other digital art, they have sales like every few months, probably twice a year, but they cut 50% off, and that's the time when you buy it, and they're so much cheaper. So yes.
And it's that bit where, like, if you're paying for the whole Creative Cloud with Adobe, it gets extremely expensive.
Yeah.
And you don't use the majority of what you're paying for. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever used. Let me see, what does it? I'm just going to quickly look to see what what things does it come with that I've never used. InDesign, I've never used. Fresco, I don't even know what that is. InCopy, Audition, Prelude, all these things.
Yeah.
Dreamweaver.
I did have Adobe back when I worked for the university. I got it like at student rates.
Yeah.
And that was all right for a while, but yeah, the amount of things that are on it that you're just like, I'm never touching any of that. Like, why am I paying so much if you're giving me stuff I don't need?
Student rates, it's quite expensive. It's like 24. It's like 25 pounds at student rates a month.
Exactly.
So it's
crazy.
not. It's still expensive, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's something that you can move over to, that's still giving you, because the thing is, something like Inkscape isn't user friendly that really.
Oh God, no! Inkscape is the vector art version. So there's GIMP, which is the digital art, which is rubbish, and then there's Inkscape, which is the vector art, which is rubbish. Those two are like in the kind of, it's free, but just don't use it. It's like there are better free programs.
But when you're, so when you're making all these, are you, are you designing from scratch, or are you looking at kind of tutorials and figuring it out, or?
Yeah, so what I do, so I'm just trying to find my sketchbook. So I have several sketchbooks. This is my very rough, I don't care if the pages get ripped out type thing. Let's see, I have got, so I sketch a lot of things very, very roughly. So this is, I don't know if you can see it. There we go. So that's the sketch of the narwhal that I did. So yeah, I always do a sketch. Sometimes it'll be a digital sketch. Sometimes it'll be in my sketchbook, and it there's not real any rhyme or reason. Which one I'll use. It's usually just kind of whether I've got my hand on my sketchbook at the time, or whether I've got the digital program open. Like which one is quick enough for me to get an idea down. Because that's the thing as well. It's about, I've got an idea, quickly get it down before it goes, or before shiny object syndrome happens and the idea's gone. So that's kind of, everything gets kind of a rough sketch, and then it gets improved upon. And yeah, I mean, I have watched some tutorials. So for instance, the girl with the pink hair, she had 3 versions. So she had the digital drawn one before I did the vector art, and then there was the first vector art version of her, and the eyes were really, really rubbish. I couldn't figure them out. So I watched some tutorials, and then I was like, okay, I've got an idea of how to do this. Now let's do it in my way. And I kind of then played about with the eyes and made them kind of my kind of style. And then, so that's the final version of her, just kind of playing about, watching a bit of tutorial and working it out as well. So it's kind of a mix of sketching, watching tutorials, and just playing until I break it.
Brilliant. Zornov asks, do you have artwork for sale?
Do I have artwork for sale? I don't have original pieces yet. It is something I'm looking at doing, is kind of doing some hand painted stuff, but I'm not the best at traditional art. I'm much more comfortable with, or at least I'm more comfortable with digital, and I'm more comfortable with colored pencils and colored markers and things like that. I'm not very good with the paints and stuff, but I do sell, or I will be selling, prints of art as well. So that is something that I am going to be doing in the future. But that's selling digital prints. So yes, I will be selling some of my art, but it probably won't be original stuff for a while.
Assume all your information is on your Twitch channel?
Yep.
Yep. So go and follow Seskimo if you're not already following her. All the information is there. It's just been posted up.
My Instagram's on my Twitch. I know that.
But yeah. So if you're looking for all that information, it's all there. And if you've got links for anything as well, post them in Seskimo as well. Or Genix can do it, since Genix is floating around. Genix knows all your links, doesn't he?
No.
I
don't know if that's going to work. Is that going to work? Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
That's my Etsy.
There we go. Perfect.
That's where my original prints will be going at some point. Yeah.
Excellent. Where were we? We were here. We're looking at some of your vector stuff. Okay. Up next, we have, look at all these amazing things.
Yes. So, as well as art, I like to craft. I like to do. I try all sorts of crafts. Really, one of my favorite ones is to play with felt stuff, and I love kind of designing and sewing. I'm not very good at sewing machines. They just break. I don't know why, but I like to hand sew stuff. Yes, that was one that I made for Laser. It's his Secret Santa gift.
There's a banana for scale there as well.
There was a banana for scale. There had to be a banana for scale. Yeah, and some of these are actually, so a couple of years ago, I kind of had this thing where I decided that once a month, or I'll try once a month, to make a gift for a friend, and then I would send it off. And so I got like 12 friends to send me their details and send me their likes. And I kind of, so I made just little gifts based on their likes. So the yarn and the coffee was a gift. The little dinosaur was a gift. The little cat was a gift. So those were gifts. I also did other things with other mediums, but these were kind of gifts. And then, of course, I had to make a Cthulhu decoration because, I mean, what's Christmas without Cthulhu?
Of course. What is Christmas
exactly. And then, that's the hair clip. That's my daughter's head right there. I was making little clips for her and things like that, and she's got a hairband that's got a little wolf on it as well and things like that. So, and the little tower in the corner was from Drive's Creative Challenge. That's you should all join the Drive's Creative Challenge. Do it now. So that was for the tower challenge, made out of felt. And actually, I used the original plan for that one was I was going to dough the bricks on as well, but I was very lazy, so I just used fabric paint to put the bricks on. I wasn't lazy. I was economical with my time. Is what it was.
Exactly, economical. Got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
First one is from QCat. As
Hi,
an artist,
QCat.
why are you powered by hatred for your best mod?
Well, I mean, QCat. Because you're just awful and terrible, and you just make me angry. There we go.
There we go. And then from Elizabeth, as an artiste, why does only one piece have a banana?
Because the kids had eaten all the bananas. I didn't have enough bananas. No.
Because it was being sent to me, right?
It was being sent to Laser, so he had to have a banana. I didn't send him the banana, just to clarify that.
There was no banana. There was definitely no banana. There was DOOTNOOTs. Definitely DOOTNOOTs.
There was.
Danger noodles. Totally danger noodles. Danger noodles. Look at this. Danger noodles.
There was danger noodles, yes.
These are lovely, by the way. What I got sent was amazing.
I had planned to make you an eggsy as well, but it was just like I was so far behind on it. I was just like, I'm just gonna have to send it. There won't be an eggsy.
Oh, that's fine.
So I'll have to make an eggsy for you a different time.
Yes, there was lots of danger noodles as well. Lots of danger noodles. This danger noodle here, is this my danger noodle or is somebody else's danger noodle?
Oh, did I steal that from you? I mean, not steal, but I might have gone and I can't remember. I might have gone and looked at your stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't drawn specifically for you at the time,
Right,
but I think
fine.
I was like, draw it, yeah.
So looking at it, I'm like, was that my danger noodle? Also, it looks awfully like my danger noodle.
I may have raided your photos at some point when I was looking for inspiration. I can't remember.
That's what I've got you here. I'm like, oh yeah. We were talking about these things. Before we go into more of these things, as an artist from QCat again, as an artiste, I appreciate that you skipped your husband to say I'm your best mod.
I mean, Genix would have to actually mod in order to.
I would also have to be your husband.
This is true. You're my pseudo husband.
Common law.
Oh yeah, QCat. I was being mean about you before. You weren't here. It's fine.
Yeah, but so with all of these sort of things, you're making all these amazing, kind of creations. It's along with making art. So
Yes.
as much as people are like, oh, you're an artist, oh, you're a creator, you're a crafter.
I am a craft. I felt I needed to put some of my crafty stuff on this, just to feel,
No, well, hey, making art is making as well. I have to,
It is a big.
I have to make people aware. Art is a making as well.
Yes,
it
is.
It's all creativity.
Exactly. This is kind of more my hobby side of my creative endeavors, I would say. And it's just fun. I find, so funnily enough, I find it, the one time I did a crafting stream, I found it a lot easier to finish a project on the stream when I was sewing than when I'm doing my art. So I'm more successful as a crafter streamer than I am as an artist streamer, which
Does that mean you're going to be doing more crafting streams then?
I am actually. I'm going to be doing more crafting streams in the future.
So we've got more bits and pieces that you've been making.
Yes. Yeah. Again, this is just me. I used to love playing with clay, like polymer kind of Fimo stuff. So I went through a phase of I don't wear jewelry. I'm not a jewelry person, but I became obsessed with making jewelry. Just because it was just a fun way to kind of use shapes and things like that. And so I kind of made a lot of jewelry. I also made these things called inchies, which are the little the squares, which so you basically they're an inch by like an inch square, and you just kind of do designs on them. And it was just about kind of playing about and seeing what I could do. So kind of having fun and just messing about. And then I also made little charms again for this wasn't part of like the thing that I was doing, but I did make some charms for friends And these the charms you might recognize. If you've seen any of my later stuff, like my stickers and stuff, these do become stickers. The angry cloud and the angry thunderbolt actually, I did. It was also something that I made a felt of, and then it became a sticker. And at some point, the plan is at some point to make an enamel pin of the cloud with a little dangly thunderbolt. But the enamel pins are probably going to be the end of this year that I'm going to do that. But yeah, so I love playing about with other crafts. Like if there's a craft that I can fit into the house that doesn't involve massive tools, I will probably try it at some point. I might not be good at it, but I will try it. And I find it as well, just playing about with other things can be really good for inspiration for my art as well. Like I say, like the cloud was originally a clay thing. The yarn and the crochet thing was originally a clay thing, and that's become, in fact, like my yarn stickers are like my biggest sellers on my Etsy, and so I just become inspired. So I think it's very good to kind of branch out and try everything, try all the things.
Jax looks over at the new stuff she's bought for her art over the last 2 weeks.
There might be a few new things.
Yeah, we'll go pictures of that later, don't worry.
Yeah.
Right, we're going to take a break from looking at your stuff. And we're going to have a look at some other people's stuff.
Yay!
We're going to go and jump at the weekly showcase. Let's bring up the weekly showcase, guys. Let me find it.
You need a little jingle for it.
Weekly
showcase?
So you're going to make me up a jingle, are you?
I'll make you, along with the DOOTNOOT, I'll make you a jingle.
There we go. I know it here somewhere. There we go. There we go. So guys, what we do here is we have our weekly. Is it weekly? There we go. We have our weekly showcase. So if anyone in the chat has any creations that they've made, be it art, music, something gaming, anything at all. DOOTNOOT is not working today. Zarnaf, no DOOTNOOT today. I really should have had that working. Let me 2 seconds, I'll get DOOTNOOT working. I really should remember to have actually put DOOTNOOT on.
Damn it.
DOOTNOOT, where's DOOTNOOT? Where is it? Where is it? Come on, DOOTNOOT, where are you? I've lost DOOTNOOT. No.
Hang on, I'll do it. DOOTNOOT.
Oh, sound.
Yeah, exactly, Drive. I have the voice of DOOTNOOT.
I was going to say, I'm like, why can't I find it? It's the worst bit. You know, like, it's just disappeared. No. Oh, there it is. There it is. I'm like, it's in the wrong place. That'd be why. There we go.
DOOTNOOTs.
There we go. There you are. There we are. That is the voice of Seskimo. It's too late now. Oh, sorry.
It's too late.
But yes, guys, if you have any art, any creations, any makings that you have made in any which way, please feel free to go on, join the Discord, post it in the weekly show off section so we can show it off on the Makers Vodcast, so we can praise you to high heavens for all the amazing stuff that everybody makes. So we love what everyone is doing because you all make so much cool stuff. So up first today we have a rod created by Wolfram Custom Rods.
That is awesome.
It is
I love like
amazing.
The pyrokinetic
Pyrography.
the burnt. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. That's gorgeous.
Yeah, and like the thread work, because that is all thread.
Yes,
on
that is
to
amazing.
create those designs, I'm sure.
It's just fantastic. Like it looks like it looks professional. Like you've gone and bought that from somewhere. That's just like
Oh, the man
it's so
the man
good.
is a professional.
Well, there we go. I mean, well, there we go then.
he's making, you know, like his rods are like proper amazing rods that people are wanting.
They are
You know,
fantastic.
you know, he's making these, you know, by hand. You know, he's putting all the threading on, doing all the the transfers, putting everything together. You know, you can see him doing everything to create these rods. You know, and it's an art form in itself just to create all these custom designs within these rods. You know,
Great.
You know, and the man puts so much effort into it. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, you know, it's just just seeing the amount of work that he puts in the finished product.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
And there's he sent them
astounding.
everywhere. So if you're not following Wolfram, go give him a follow. You should definitely be following him. Up next, we have the drive. You've got to be nice.
Ah, fine. I mean, these are just like they're always fantastic. Like they look like they are photos. It just looks like you've taken a snapshot of something. Like they're just amazing. It's so good.
It totally has. It's that bit where you look at that and you're like, you've just been using Photoshop here and you've just cut these out of a photo.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all that stuff he does on stream. It's just show. He's really just got them on a photo. No, they are great. Like, and it's fast. But then, like, doing the kind of 3D thing is something that is one of those things that I would love to get into, but I can't imagine being able to make something like that. Like, it's very just
it's so
mind-blowing.
intricate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's churning these out as well because he's really like the skill that it takes to create these and the speed that he does them at as well.
It's like astounding.
And being able, and just getting all the fine details as well. Because that's what makes the difference is that fine detail.
Yeah, it's like it's what makes it real. Like you could make something that's vaguely right, but if you're not picking up on those small details, then that just kind of you're missing out on the realism, basically.
Yeah.
But it's great, absolutely great.
Well done, Drive. Well done.
Yeah. I mean, they're great for someone who doesn't exist. I mean,
Totally. Next up, we have Kukat with our gorgeous owls.
Now, the only problem here is that there isn't one for me. So that's not on. I want one. These are adorable, though. They're so cute. They're very, very cute. And it's kind of interesting because it looks like they're not all the same kind of pattern. Like, so they've been knitted, crocheted, cooked. I don't know what the technical term is. But in different ways. I don't know if that's right. If I'm wrong, correct me, QCat. But they're so adorable.
Oh, it's all black magic to me. I say this every time I see someone doing anything with like wool in this way. I'm like, nah. You guys are just you guys just know what you're waving magic wands here.
Exactly. It's like how do you go from like putting knots into wool to making that? It's like when I put knots into wool, it's a knot. It's magic.
Brilliant. Up next we have send out to shout out QCat, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, can't forget to shout out people. There we go. Go to QCat follow. Nearly forgot. Sorry. Up next we have Make Mistakes.
These are just
look at these gorgeous pens.
They're gorgeous.
These are absolutely gorgeous.
I'm gonna have to go and steal them. They're just so nice.
And then from his message, the one on the left is mine.
So after lockdown, I will be going to yours. You may be down 1 pen.
No, it's gonna be under lock and key.
Darn it. No, these are just. Again, this is something like I just see these being made, and it's like that's not possible.
Yeah. He's got a skill, that's for sure. It's and these are all made out of resin as well.
Yeah, it's so nice.
And resin's a hard substance to actually turn properly.
Yeah.
And get right. Because it's unlike wood, which has got a bit of give to it.
Yeah.
This resin's a harder substance.
Mm.
Yeah, it makes me have raisins. No, do not come back into raisins again. Resin. This
resin.
CXP podcast again.
Makes them out of raisins and dates.
It's just so amazing. Nice. It's so lovely just to see kind of that finished product, and it's even better when you hold one of these pens.
I'm going to find out eventually.
Last but definitely, I've not shouted out yet. Before I forget, I'm really bad at doing this tonight. Go and give me mistakes a follow. You work with the classic checks. That was frightful. Finally, the last one we have is from Mr. Frightful. There we go. Let's create this.
An ordinary chest.
No,
nothing.
Nothing. Not an ordinary chest at all. It's got teeth. It's totally got teeth.
It's so good. It is so good.
It's got a tongue. Look at
It's
that.
fantastic. That is just. I love that. I want that. That is great. That is really just top notch. Like, you could see that being sold in like Forbidden Planet or something like that. Like, it's just so good and so geeky as well.
Yeah. Let's put that there. There we go. Post. There we go. There we are. There's the thing.
Oh.
You're breaking things now.
My cat is trying to get the dog treats. Come here. Come on. No. Oh. I may have said the magic word.
But yeah, that like if you look at it's the luggage.
Yeah.
And so it's like all the feet.
It's just great.
It's such detail that you've put into it, Mr. Frightful.
It is. It's all those fine little bits of detail. Like the fact, like when you lift the lid up, you can see like the top of the mouth. It's not just kind of flat and stuff. And
yeah, it's been so well thought out. It's you've done such an amazing job. like always, I'm always in awe at the work that you do, mate. You're that again, like we're saying, attention to detail for everything. The paint job there as well.
it's fantastic.
He's awfully good. Yeah, he is. He is awfully good. So there we go. So that's everyone for this week. So thank you, everyone. And if you want to be showcased on next week's weekly show off, get yourselves on the Discord. Post some pictures in the weekly show off section, and we'll get you in.
You have to forgive me. I'm giving all the animals treats because they heard the word treats.
And now we will just jump back to here so you can see the feeding frenzy that is going on. We'll give
treat. You've had your treat. They're gone now.
It's just all the animals. All the animals.
All the animals.
Is there a Gambit there as well?
He is. He's been very good though. He's not jumped up.
Oh,
Don't know if you
can we show off a Gambit? Can we show off a Gambit?
Come on, Gambit. Gambit. Come on, up. Can you get up? No, you're going to be good now. Come on, up. No, I don't know if you can see him ever so slightly.
We get a little bit of Gambit.
You can see a little. Yeah. Up. Up. Nah, he's not doing it. Go on then, have the treat.
Oh, he's been on his best behaviour tonight.
I know. He had all of his zoomy bits at the start. Now he's...
Oh, brilliant.
Oh.
Where we need to go? We need to go back to the other one. This one here. There we are. That's the right one now. And then find the right one. Here. Too many things open now. Too many things open. So, as well as being... just kidding.
Freya.
We're just going to be... It's just animal time now, right? It's totally animal time. Animal time now.
And now Gambit's barking at me.
Yeah.
It's just... Oh dear.
This is what everyone came for, really. They're not interested in anything else. Everyone's just here for the cats and the dogs. So
yeah, whenever anyone hears Seskimo, they think Gambit.
Yeah, so like the view counts just went up by 3,000. We're good. Yeah.
You're just gonna sit there? Yeah.
Yeah. Comfy there. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point they'll jump up onto the other bit.
Yeah. Or onto my shoulder. Just
just to frighten you.
Yeah, if I start yelling, I'm very sorry.
Let's get ready to clip, everybody. Get ready to clip. Oh. So yeah, where were we? Yeah. So as well as being a streamer, you are a full-time artist.
I am, yes. I was pushed into it.
And that's the. So how are you finding being a full-time artist? Is that kind of been something that you've always wanted to do, or?
Yes. Although back then I didn't really think, like, when I was younger, I kind of thought that to be an artist professionally full-time, it meant I'd have to work for a company, and I didn't really like that idea. Just, I don't know. It just seemed like you'd probably get told what to do, and I still get told what to do by my clients, but I get to choose my clients, whereas if you're working for a business, you're told you have to do that. And so it's something that I think I was always meant to do, but I wasn't really aware of what I could do in that kind of field. But I mean, over the years, I've kind of realized more and more, because I went from uni to an office job pretty much straight away. I was admin, and I pretty much worked in admin since I was 22. And those are Gambit's treats. Sorry. So, oh, he's gonna lure the pets away.
No.
Gen X animal herder.
Yeah.
Herding cats.
So I kind of went from uni. So, at uni I did education studies, which it was interesting, but I never wanted to be a teacher. I knew that. It was just kind of, I was expected to go to uni, so I just did something. And then after that, I kind of went and got an office job in admin. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. So I just stayed in the office job, and then I moved on to do admin for a university, and then I went on to do admin for a different company. And the longer I stayed in that field, stayed working in an office, the more I realized that I am not cut out to be an office person. I do not have the office worker mentality. I think I'm a bit too unusual. But but I never had the confidence or really the financial ability to just kind of go, screw it, I'll go and do freelance, until like it just seemed quite fortuitous this year. Like we could afford it financially. I'm kind of the most confident I've ever been with my art. I feel like my art in the last like 2 years has just like it's gone so much better. I still don't feel like I'm anywhere near where I could be, but I'm always kind of working on that, and I feel like I'm definitely more sure of myself now than I was, say, like three years ago. And then obviously then I got made redundant, and it was kind of a case of, well, I've got redundancy money. I could go and get another job, but then of course COVID hit, and it's like, well, is it safe to go get another job? Like I'd be working remotely for a company that I've just started in. And I was like, well, let's see if we can afford it. And I was like, well, we can afford it, so let's just do it. But I kind of, when I thought about doing it, I realistically expected I might get one commission every 6 months. Like I was not expecting to have the amount of, I mean, like I'm gonna get so emotional now. I'm so sorry. Like the moment I like said to people, guys, I'm going freelance. I'm sorry. My friends have just been so good, so fucking good, man. Like they were literally, and it's not just about commissioning me. They were literally going out and saying, you know what, my friend, she's amazing. Go fucking commission her, man. I had one friend who she's a website designer, and she was like, my clients, I'm going to tell them to come to you. Like my first logo pieces were her. She got me to do her logos, and then she went to her clients and said, she's done my logos, you want her. And my friends just like, they're so fucking awesome. And you as well, Laser, like you just been like bigging me up, like helping me get to affiliate on Twitch. Like you were a massive part of that. And then you commissioned me for a logo as well, which is just like all of it helps. And it's just, and I did not imagine that I would be doing as well as I am right now. I feel so freaking lucky. Like the people who are around me, and I'm sorry. Okay, so freaking emotional. I was expecting 1 or 2 commissions maybe in the year. We were literally budgeting for me to not really be doing much. It was literally, can we cover the bills? That's fine. And really what I was thinking of doing was like,
you need a hug.
My idea had been really, and it's still my idea to build on Etsy. I had all these plans. I was gonna, get my Etsy set up and get that. That would be my big thing. And I was gonna do some online tutoring. I was gonna do Skillshare. That was kind of gonna be something that I would do. But I've honestly, I've been so busy with commissions that those ideas, they've just had to be on the side. And that's that's great. Like it's something I will be doing like in the future. I'm kind of now that I'm kind of understanding what timings I need for everything, because that's another thing as well. I needed to understand how long things were going to take. I needed to understand like kind of the rapport that I needed, like back and forth with the clients. Just simple things like loading things up onto like the Dropbox for the Google Drive for people to pull down. Sometimes that can take a while, like, you know, getting things to the, like, especially things like emotes and things, you have to make sure that the right sizing and stuff like that. And it's been a learning curve, but I've also been so lucky with the type of people who've commissioned me as well. Like, everyone has just been lovely. Like, and anytime I've said, I'm a little behind on this, they've been like, you know, you'll get it done. Like, I mean, I think I ended up being a few weeks later than I said I was going to be, but you were just like, it'll get
done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't too bothered.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know you're busy. I'm like, I'm happy you're busy. That was the thing. I was like, when you said that, I'm like, yes, she's busy. That's what we were wanting.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like the first year being in business is always the hardest bit, because you know it's you're still learning everything to be in about a business, because there's so much, when you jump in the deep end, there's so much that you don't know that's going to going to hit you in the face. I learned that the hard way as well. The first year I started up my business, and there's only so much that you can tell people, because you've just got to experience it.
Exactly. Like you don't, like, people can tell you, oh, it's gonna be like complicated and hard and things, but you really don't understand. But I love it. Even when I am at my most stressed, like with this job, I'd rather be stressed doing this than being stressed in like where I was everywhere else, because this is what I'm wanting to do. This is what I feel like I was really meant to be doing. And it's kind of funny, because I've kind of developed this saying, and like I say, I absolutely love doing my commissions. The best thing about this job is I get to draw every day. The worst thing about this job is I have to draw every day. But it's like, it's just so and I'm okay with that, and it's just great. I would say the only downside is just that I'm so busy drawing for everyone else that I'm not drawing as much for myself, which I'm kind of wanting to try and build a bit more of that into like my time as well, just because, sometimes you've got to just, do stuff for yourself. But
that is the hardest part, when especially and that you'll find that as when running your own business, is that you can get caught up with the business too much.
Yeah.
And and that it's a double-edged sword, because you want to put as much effort in.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember that you have a family.
Exactly.
You're lucky in that you have the kids, and you've got Gen X to remind you to go, wait a second, I've got to give my time to them.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you can kind of go, oh, wait a second, I've got to do other things. I've got to make sure the kids are getting some food in them. And this child is screaming at me, so I kind of need to give them attention.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, but but there's times where you could just get lost in it and just do it constantly. If like you're up at 2:00 in the morning.
Not that I'm doing that at all at the moment.
But you've got to remember and give time for other things as well.
Yeah.
But
exactly.
It's a hard slog, especially especially the first year of a business. But you're doing so well for what you're doing.
I am like 100%, 110% aware, like that I am, first of all, incredibly lucky, like, because there are people who I know who are more skilled and talented than me, who aren't doing as well as me, and that it just seems unfair that, but at the same time, it's like good that I'm getting stuff. But like,
let's go back to that. Don't compare yourself to others thing.
Yes. Yeah. No. But I know that I'm lucky, like, and I know that I am so fortunate to have like the people around me who've been, who've always bigged me up, and always like you, for instance, are always telling me that I'm not charging enough, and my other friends are telling me that I'm not charging enough, and things like that. And it's like it's that kind of, it's that support. Like I probably would have given up 6 months in, if I didn't have that support from like my friends, and from Genix as well. Like Genix, for all that I pick on him and stuff, like he is such a supportive guy throughout all this. He's always understood that this is kind of what I've been wanting to do, and he's just been like, he's always been behind me, and and just helped me and stuff. It's just, and he's just, I couldn't have done it without his support, like absolutely not. And I'm so fortunate for the type of people I have around me. I just I love everyone. I love you. I love everyone here. You're all great. That's the only time you're ever going to hear me say that. So don't get used to it.
So do we clip says crying?
Doesn't sound like the real Seskimo.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
What would you say to this from Sunshine? What would you say to? Oh, sorry, I've lost it there. To the Says of the past that was just thinking of going freelance.
I mean, are we talking about how far into the past? Because if we're talking about the one who's just starting off in the freelance, I would say get on Twitch sooner. Just come and meet these people. Just don't be scared of them. I would say just be confident. Like, know that you are worth it. Like, there are people who want your stuff, and there are people who want your skills, and don't worry. just don't worry. I think that's kind of what I would say to me.
Bring up some of these pictures actually while we're here, just to some of the commissions that you were talking about actually.
Yes.
The other one was from QCat of tell us about your hypes.
My hypes.
Your hypes.
You're my hype, QCat.
Yeah.
So these,
yeah. And you go to
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. So these are kind of all like the kind of logo type things that I've done. So obviously I did my own crafty Seskimo. That's actually had so many versions of it in 1 year. Like it started off with a kind of drawing thing, and then it progressed very quickly as I kind of got a bit more understanding of logo design, basically. And so the first kind of logo, well, the first two logos, so they came together, was for Mechaweege. Actually, it's technically three. So Mechaweege, the Useful Human, and the HH Lifestyle Travel. So they kind of came in together, the three logos. Mechaweege is actually a Twitch gamer. He's a friend of mine, and he was one of like the first people who kind of came to me and said, "Well, you know what? I've got an affiliate. I need some stuff. Can you make it for me?" I was like, "Sure, let's do that. Let's go and do that." So he kind of commissioned me for that. And then the Useful Human and the Lifestyle Travel, those are actually the same person. She's got two companies. The Useful Human is her website design. So these are the logos that I kind of made for her. And then she sent me on to her client, which was the Endless Travels. So that was her client that she was making a website for, and she was like, "Well, you need an update on the logo." That one was a very challenging client. She was lovely, but she didn't have a clue what she wanted, and she didn't have a clue what she didn't want. So it was very much a process, and this was a kind of part of learning about how to do things. This is all just part of it, where you kind of have to learn okay, how many times am I going to redo something before I say that we're not getting anywhere? Or how much am I going to give someone? Because for some people, like Mecha I gave him loads of designs and he knew what he wanted. And I gave a few designs, and you knew kind of what were the kind of two that you wanted. You were very laser pointed into what you wanted. But this person, she just looked at. I think I gave her too much. And so I thought, well, how are we going to narrow this down? So then I started breaking it down, and I asked her, well, okay, what of these fonts do you like? And what of like these color schemes do you like? And what of like these shapes do you like? And it kind of pulling each little bit. And it was just that learning of how to do it and how to get it to what the client wanted in the end. And it's just, and again, like with the Useful Human and the HA's lifestyle travel blog, she already knew pretty much what she wanted off the bat. So it was kind of just tweaking bits that she wanted and things like that. Also that other little logo that's kind of floating around, the kind of weird black and white circular thing. That is a logo that I made. That was meant to be something we were going to do an e-zine with some friends. So that was the logo for that. So that was one of the second logos that I ever made, really. But that's not really gone anywhere recently. But I'm still kind of proud of that logo, just because it's one of those logos where it's not too much like anything, but it's distinct enough that if you saw it, you'd know it, type thing. So I was kind of proud of that. So yeah.
As someone that's experienced the process, it was actually fairly straightforward. For me anyway.
Yes.
You literally went, "What do you want?" And I went, here's a jumble of random idea. Make something work for me, please. And you took that and went, here's something better.
It's like, you don't want that, you want this.
Yes, but as it should be.
Well, and in all fairness, I did try and keep with what you were wanting, but kind of tweaking it and getting you. But you were a very straightforward and easy client. So
because then you sent stuff and I'm like, no, that works. Like when I saw this design and then you were like, give me the two that you prefer, and I'm like, it was really just that one I really wanted. But yeah, this one's all right, but it's really just that one I really want. Yeah, totally figured that one out, and give me some options on that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because there's a lot of the times where I kind of guess what logos people are going to want out of a lot of them. There's usually like one or two logos that I'm like, those are going to be the ones. And then it's kind of like, well, I'll give them other stuff in case they want some other ideas. It's like, I kind of saw when I'd done that one, I was like, I think it's going to be this one. Because, and so I'm glad you went with it. Because
Because I think it was literally just coming down to the font choice at the end.
Yeah, there's 10 different ones with different fonts in them and stuff. But...
So that is always the hardest bit, is fonts.
I know, it's surprising how difficult it is to and matching up fonts if you're using more than one font, and also if you're using one font, making sure that it's nice and distinct. Like putting the red on the Geek might seem very simple and straightforward, but it's kind of a play about, and making sure the sizing between the letters and the sizing on the sides, and it's just the tiny things you don't think about.
And because when I get the stuff that comes in from printers, and sign makers that send me stuff to make for other people, like half the time I'm getting these god awful, horrible logos that I'm being sent, and I'm like, oh, you're putting that on your wall, putting that on your shop? Are you sure?
Yeah. The more that I've done logos, the more I kind of look at logos going, oh, but even no.
But that was half the reason why I was wanting a rebrand, because I made my own logo, and I'm like, this isn't very good. This is just me using some text. Let's actually have a proper a proper logo with like I could take away the Lasergeek creations underneath it, and people would still technically know that's me.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I've started trying to do, is make sure that there is I can never say the word iconic. There's an icon.
Yeah.
There should be something like it should be that you have a logo that you can either have with words or have without, and it's really about making sure that people can recognize it without anything else, kind of thing. Like if it's, like Nike, I always kind of go back to thinking about Nike and like the swish. That's Nike. It doesn't need to say Nike on it. It's not even anything in particular. It's not a shoe. It's not, what else do Nike make? Tracksuit bottoms.
Anything sporty and a bottle.
Yes. Iconic. I still can't say the word. Iconography.
Iconography. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Everyone's just saying it in the chat now.
Yes.
But exactly. That's the thing. It's that bit where everyone wants that, and someone like yourself that's got that kind of idea and the ability to kind of go, oh, this looks good and it's unique.
Yeah.
Compared to someone that goes, oh, I'm just going to go on Fiverr.
Yes, and that's kind of that's the thing that you've got to compete with at the moment is, and you know what, like for people, if people are happy with like carbon copy logo designs, that's fair, that they can do that. But I kind of like to think that I give people exactly what they want rather than a close approximation of what they might be okay with. I think that's kind of what I hope to get. That my main focus is always getting the person to a logo that they love at the end. Exactly. And it's not just kind of it's all right, I suppose. Like, yeah.
And the fact that you work with your client.
Yes.
And kind of go, is this what you actually wanted?
Yeah.
It's like, this is, here's some ideas. Is this what you wanted? Tell me what you like. Tell me what you don't like.
Exactly. And I'm very particular on people telling me exactly what they don't like. Like, I know people feel very nervous about saying that, someone's made you something and you should automatically go, oh, that's lovely. But that I always emphasize, tell me if it's not right, because you are giving me your money. So I want to give you something that you want. I don't want to give you something that you feel you have to take. Like, so it's kind of like it's very like, I'm very, very staunch on saying to people, tell me if you don't like it. Just tell me. Like, I'm not gonna be upset about it. Like, I'm too cold-hearted to be upset about it. It's just, and so it's a very it's about making sure that the client is confident in saying that they don't like it as well. I think, because I do know, I've heard some horror stories, and I don't think this happens often, but I do know that there's some artists who are very much, I will give you what I've drawn and that's it. Like, that if you say you don't like it, then that's tough. I've drawn it. It's like, well, that's not how no, it's not how you should be working.
Exactly. It's a two-way street.
Exactly.
Especially when you're doing stuff like branded stuff, branding. That's because somebody else's business.
Exactly.
You're working closely with them to produce something that they're going to be having to promote themselves a lot of the time, because especially for like in your case, you're working with a lot of people that are like one person businesses a lot of the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're coming to you to get that starter for them, or something to make them stand out.
Exactly.
And so the chat's talking about all the things they don't like, which is mostly common Coronation Street, it seems. And QCat's taking everything.
Just like that. The fact that you don't like bananas, QCat, just Uh,
But here we go. With some original character art as well. That's commission
Yes.
work.
So this is kind of when I kind of imagined myself being a digital artist. This is kind of what I thought I would be getting. Like, I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of thought, well, I'll only get like one piece a month, not one piece, one piece a year, or one every 6 months or something, because it's like, it's something that people like. For instance, people like it for when they're playing D&D games and things like that. They like a character, but sometimes they'll just go on to like a generator or something and just get something that's useful. So it's kind of one of those things where it's a very niche area, and it's quite fun, but I also feel like it's one of the most nerve-wracking kind of commissions, because that's someone's character and you have to get those details right, because they have that in their head and you have to get that out of their head and onto a piece of paper or onto the digital thing. But it's kind of that area I thought I would be going into. It's kind of crazy that it's one of my least requested commission types. So, but it's one of those areas that I think as well, because I came originally from a kind of an art community in Twitter. That was kind of where I hung out a lot. And artists generally, almost every artist has an OC. They have an original character, and it's kind of like they'll pay other artists to do renditions of it. So I kind of thought, well, that seems to be all that happens. And it wasn't really until I moved out of that art sphere and came into the wider world, as it were, and realized that actually there's things that people want that I can give that is more than just this.
So such things as like this.
Yes. So this was a really interesting commission. This was like one of my, I'm trying to think. It was possibly my second commission. I think it was my second commission. No, third commission. It was my third commission. This came through a friend. A friend had suggested me to one of his, I believe she's a colleague of his. And she was looking to get, she was writing a children's book specifically for her husband, who was an archaeologist. They'd just had a newborn. They'd had a newborn baby girl, and she wanted him to have a storybook that she could read to their daughter, that was, specifically about him and about what he did. And so she wanted some art pieces to go into it. And so she came to me, and this is very much showing how very early on I said yes to everything. Like any commission piece that came in, I said yes. I do not do buildings and I do not do backgrounds. Backgrounds and buildings are not something that I do. I avoid them like the plague. And then this person came along and said, well, I want something with a background and I want a building. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. I can do that. Totally. I can do that. And I mean, in all fairness, that building is one of my most favorite pieces that I have done. I think I could probably do a little bit better now, but that's always the way. I always kind of look at pieces and go, I could have changed that bit. But that was it was kind of almost a good way to force me to kind of try and do it. But I have to say, I love the pineapple with the kilt.
Oh, it's so cute.
It's so randomly cute.
But it doesn't have a nose.
Shut up! She specifically didn't want a nose. So yeah, this basically ended up being a children's book, but it's just a private one, so it's not like it's going to be out published anywhere or anything like that. But in fact, she's now come back to me. So one of my first commissions for 2021 is another commission for her. It's actually for her husband. He does charity stuff and he wants some SVG art done, some vector art done for stuff that they can use whenever they need it. So she obviously liked my stuff enough to come back, which is superb. And she's not a friend, so
yeah. Well, that's when you know that things are good, when you get
Yes.
repeat customers that aren't your immediate friends and family.
Exactly.
that's the point, and
That
that's
is
that, and that's you tick that one on the box now.
exactly. So I feel like that's a sign that I'm doing something right.
Yep.
Definitely.
So give you the clap. Claps in the chat. Claps. Oh, brilliant. Where am I? Right, find the right window. Here we go. So some other things that you're kind of doing. Stickers.
Yeah. Stickers. Yes. This is a thing that I just didn't like. I didn't think that people would want this, but
Stickers.
apparently people do. Yeah.
Stickers.
So originally I got so I have my Cricut Maker. Like I said, my original plan was to basically build an Etsy store and sell my art via stickers and magnets and things like that through my Etsy store. But it never really occurred to me that people might want to commission me to do specific stuff for them. Until people started commissioning me to do specific stuff for them. So I think the first one was that Not Today stitches. So I was in a community, I think it was one of the handmade crafting communities that I was kind of part of, just to while I was kind of trying to understand stuff, and I was just showing some of the things I made, and then I got a message from someone saying, "Oh my God, I love your work. Can you design a sticker for me to sell on my shop?" And I was like, "Sure, let's do that." So she basically had this idea that she just wanted it like this. And I made that for her, and she absolutely loves it, and she sells it. And I think it's one of her best-selling ones on her site as well, which is always nice. And then, of course, I had the Drive. He commissioned me for some stickers for his lovely girlfriend, which is the two chinchilla ones and the little doggy one. Those are stickers that he got commissioned, and those were a lot of fun to make as well. I enjoyed those. I find that I really kind of enjoy this type of thing, just kind of turning stuff into fun small designs, so it doesn't have to be massively huge and complex. It can be fun and cute. And then of course we got the ones at the bottom were a birthday commission gift for a fellow streamer, Kitten, who it was kind of her partner who kind of came to me and commissioned them, and she cried on stream when she got those, which is, I like making people cry. It's one of my favorite things.
In a good way.
Well, anyway. And then the final ones were the bunnies, which actually they are going to be turned into, well, eventually they're going to become a tattoo. But the person who's asked for them, so the bunny at the front sadly died, and she wanted something that was like just to remember her bunnies. So the bunny at the front is called Hannah, but got nicknamed Wub, and the bunny at the back is called Isaac. And the blocks, I decided to kind of put Wub and Isaac onto the blocks to spell out those. And apparently, again, she cried. And those I sent as a little gift to her. I sent a little sticker and a little bookmark of those just to say thanks. And again, she cried when she got those as well. I keep making people cry. It's great. And so that was really fun. But it's kind of sweet that someone's come to me and asked me to do that, kind of to let them remember their loved pet and stuff like that. But yeah, stickers are kind of really fun. And again, like I said, I it's not something I thought that I would be commissioned to do. Whoop whoop.
One thing there.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting how commissions have come about. Like it's almost like like there's been a natural progression of what kind of commissions I've been getting. But yeah, so those are great, and I love them.
And you're also getting things like commissions for here on Twitch.
Yep.
So all these amazing things.
Yeah, so some overlays. So Love Cat commissioned me for originally she commissioned me for the overlay, just to have something for her stream, and then she wanted some the transition-y card type things. She needed some of those, so she commissioned me them. And then the top ones are from my friend Jesus. He's a Twitch gaming streamer. He wanted some stuff. He actually several years ago, he actually commissioned me originally, just as kind of, because many years ago I used to be what I call a professional hobbyist, where very occasionally someone might come and I'll say, yeah, sure, shove me 20 quid and I'll make you something. And so he commissioned me for some like logo stuff for his Twitch, and then he came back to me when I went freelance, and he was like, well, I need some more stuff. Can you make it? So I made them. I really love the Good Night Folks one. I think is like one of my favorite ones, just because it's just quite cute. Just him fast asleep at the computer. The challenging one was the technical difficulties one, because I had to add highlights and shadows to every single wire on that picture. I couldn't cheat and like just kind of make it look like it. I had to go in and put the highlight and the shadow on it so that you could see the wires. So that was quite challenging.
You've just answered Janik's question then, which was how bad was the wires to shade on the technical difficulties?
Yeah, they were so hard. This is one of those moments where I was kind of regretting my decisions. It was a play about with that one. I had to kind of figure it out, but yeah.
The thing is, when you were first making it, I thought it was Jesus of an address.
Everyone thought it was Organics in address. That was the two things. And that's another, going like way back to when I was starting. Like sometimes things look really bad before you finished, so everyone thought that I made them in a dress, and it's like, no, it's wires. It's going to look like wires. It will look like wires. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that is the thing though, is when when you first start making something, it doesn't always start how it's going to look.
Exactly.
So your kind of newest thing is Seskimo's.
Seskimo, yes. And these are like I if you told me back in January, like last year, you're going to become a Twitch emotes artist, I'd be like, what? I love, like, this is like without a doubt my favorite thing to be commissioned for. It's just I don't even know why I love it so much. It's just like they're so cute and small, and it's about kind of getting that balance of making sure that it's legible when it's tiny, but also making sure that it's really nice when it's big, and it's kind of finding that balance. And I think actually the best thing is when you are in other people's streams and you see your emotes and you kind of like, I made that. And it's just like, just random people who you don't even know sometimes just kind of popping them up, and it's like, I made that. And they're just great. And I absolutely love them. And I'm just, I'm kind of wanting to expand that more. It's actually, I'm kind of deciding that I'm going to sort of streamline my commissions a bit and try and focus more on the Twitch emotes thing, because I really feel that's kind of where I've gone to now. That seems to be the thing that people are loving and people are wanting. So I'm kind of going to start really focusing on the Twitch emotes, and maybe pulling it back. Last year was kind of me trying to explore and decide what was good and what wasn't good. And this year it's more about me streamlining and saying, no, I won't do this. Yes, I will do this. And really having like a set idea of how much it's going to be, how long it's going to take, and what you get from it, basically, like that. So the Twitch emotes absolutely 100% love doing. Like,
Yeah. So you're going to actually charge a proper fair amount this time.
yes. I'm getting there.
Uh,
The prices did go up in January, so
good. Because you were far too cheap.
well, I'm just a cheap person. Yeah, I think it's all been about just really understanding. It's kind of trying to find that point where, you know, the supply and demand is
Yeah.
kind of at equilibrium, I suppose, and the, you know, what people will be willing to pay and what your time is worth is. It's just so complicated trying to figure it all out. Like,
especially that bit of what your time is worth and what,
yes.
and convincing people that your time is actually worth that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because sometimes people see things like Fiverr.
Yeah. Fiverr is just, it's just crazy. Like, Fiverr was one of my biggest concerns when I kind of started doing the Twitch emote things. Because so originally the first emote that I made was actually, I did it for free for Mecha Weege. It was part of like the because he'd got the logos from me. I kind of said to him, I kind of want to practice doing like Twitch emotes. So can I just make you a couple and can you just use them? And he's like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So I kind of made him Twitch emotes. The one that's the second from the left at the very top, the one with the fingers in the ears, that was the emote I made him. And also the sub badges, the second set up from the bottom on the left, like the guy with the glasses that transitions into his logo, which is Mecha Weege. So those were actually the kind of freebie ones that I did, just to kind of get used to it. And then I feel like I've really kind of got the idea of how to do Twitch emotes now. Like, I understand. But looking at Fiverr when I was in the early days, and like you see some of them are saying a turnaround time of 24 hours, and you can charge £5 for like one. And then when you think that fees are going to get taken out of that, and like, how are you turning these around in 24 hours? Like, how are you getting a sketch to your clients? How are you getting approved by your clients? And how are you then turning around and getting the final piece? Because that's like, so that really scared me. Like, I thought I'm never going to get very far doing that, because I set my 2 to 4 weeks specifically to give the clients time to get back to me and me time to make sure that the emote is what they want. Because again, like I said before, I'm all about making sure that what I give is what they want. But because people go to Fiverr, it's like, I'm not going to be able to compete with that. But I've had so many people who are just like, no, yeah, you know, you're worth the time and you're worth the effort, because what you make is what I want. So,
yeah. And that is the thing, is that it's the market that you're targeting as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the people that would go and just pay a £5 for one emote in 24 hours is never going to be kind of be that person that's ever going to be willing to pay that.
Exactly.
The people that are willing to pay that are the people that you want to target. Pay the good amount of money, and they're and those people that are willing to pay that money are the people that are putting in the effort.
Yes.
To stream, and the ones that are wanting quality emotes,
exactly,
all that sort of thing.
Yeah. And I think as well, like, because I've kind of come into the makers and crafters, I feel like even if this isn't a skill that makers and crafters, because a lot of my clients at the moment are makers and crafters, because that's kind of where I hang out and who I talk to, and I feel like even if they don't like understand everything about the emotes, they understand that crafting takes time, and I feel like they're the type of people who appreciate it the most. Like, they're the ones who, because they make things, people who crochet, know that stuff takes time. People who make woodwork know stuff takes time. They really have a better idea that what they're asking for is not a 5-second press a button and finish. So that's kind of, I feel like this is a good community to really kind of find people who understand value.
Yeah, much better appreciation. That is very
Yes.
true. Much better appreciation of the hard work that everyone does
Yeah.
for things. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wrong thing. Other things that you've been making.
Yes. So this is my Etsy side of things. So this is kind of like I said, originally my idea was kind of mostly to try and build up on my Etsy and making stickers and things. And that you can see my Cricut is cutting out some stickers. So those are my yarn stickers and my skull stickers, and those are like my two biggest sellers on my Etsy. But I've been branching out, and I have in the center is kind of stuff that I will be putting up eventually. These are kind of new things. So there's magnets, large button badges.
Doughnoots.
And as I said before, like my art prints, so that's something that's going to be going up eventually. And obviously on the right is the charms that I made using the cutouts that I got ordered from you. My experimental charms that I'm because I originally bought hang on. So I did have some charms that I bought from a company. So I put my designs on these, so that's the back, that's the front. So, and I kind of bought them, and they're really nice. They're really well done, but I wasn't happy with the quantity that I had to order in order to make it worthwhile. I don't want to be ordering 50, 100 of a charm that I'm not entirely sure is going to sell. So I was kind of trying to figure out, well, how can I do it where I can make a nice charm that I can make in smaller batches, and is going to cost me either the same per unit or is going to be a little bit cheaper. And I was like, well, I know laser, and laser cuts wood, so maybe we could do something. So then I came to you and I was like, well, can you make some shapes for me?
Yeah, not a problem.
and it turns out that they are in fact cheaper, and I can get because you are a smaller business than the company that I went with. You're able to kind of offer me a smaller amount, which is absolutely perfect for me. So I played about with those, and so those are made from the blanks that you cut me, and then I put on a matte sticker, and then I put resin on top of that, and then you can see at the bottom that's me cooking the UV resin, and then I've got a little. So have I got the final piece? Where's the final piece? There we go. So I do have one. It's a bit dirty, but that's. There we go. So that's it. That's the final piece. I also made cow ones as well, and I still haven't got around. I sold some of these on my Discord, but I haven't got around to putting those on my Etsy yet. So there are a few that are left, but I'm going to be doing more of those. So wait for me to order some more from you. But
No problem.
so yeah, so I'm really trying to branch out on my Etsy and add more. And now I've got other toys that I will be making more stuff with.
So we can have a look at some of your some of the toys and things that you do have. We'll have a look at some of your craftorium,
Yes.
aka your living room.
Yeah. So I work in my living room. This is why we've got the thing behind me, because literally we got Genix in one corner, and then we've got like the rest of the living room, and behind me is my workstation. And so the Cricut was like one of the first things, and then I got a button badge maker, I've got like my little corner all organized and things like that. And so these were my original things that I used my redundancy money on.
Yeah, and your cricket's got googly eyes, as it should do.
It does. Everything should have googly eyes. I mean, I actually haven't got googly eyes on my button badge maker, so I need to fix that. But yeah, so it's kind of like when I was originally trying to plan things out, I was like, well, what do I need, and what can I make, and how much do I need to spend? And so it was kind of buying as fewer toys as I could possibly spend on, but that would give me the best bang for my buck. So the maker, it had to be the maker, because I could make the magnets, and I could cut leather. I don't even know if I would do anything with leather, but I can cut leather on it. I can't laser leather on it though.
Well, which you're lucky to not be able to do. Totally lucky, because it stinks.
But yeah, and I've only really recently been playing about with the whole cutting fabric on it. So like cutting like the felt stuff and things like that. So that's been a fun experience. That's made me really love my doing felt again, because one of the things that I always used to find difficult was cutting out shapes in felt when I was doing like the felt sewing. So but these this is kind of my early days of my business, and now I'm starting to expand a bit more with what I do. In fact, I've got right now I've got 3 normal printers. I've got one laser printer that's for documentation. The first printer that I got for my stickers was a 70-pound HP, which was all right. It was fine. Like it for the type of print stickers I was doing, it was getting the colors all right. But I decided that in order for me to do like the prints that I wanted to do, I needed something that was a lot better at doing the matching colors and things like that. So I then got a bigger one, which is a Canon, and that also prints on A3. So that gives me an option to do A3 work, and that one's like, that's massive, and it does a lot of stuff. And now I'm also doing cards. I can print my cards on that and things like that. So, and then of course I've got my new printer and my new other heat press and things like that.
We'll get into that in a second. We've got to talk about all these books first.
So this is my reference shelf. These are, I think there are a few other reference books kicking around, but these are reference books that I use for my art and for everything else. Like there are things that I've bought books for that I've never even done yet, like the dressmaking. But I buy things to learn bits from. Like I learn sewing from dressmaking, and I learn like jewelry stuff to make polymer clay things and things like that. And I'm obsessed with buying reference books. I have crochet books that I have about 5 crochet books.
There's the crochet for dummies that I see there.
I don't crochet. I will never crochet. But I bought I have all sorts of books. Like if I see something that looks interesting, it's just I'm gonna have to have it.
And the 1001 manga books.
Yeah. So those were like my first ever reference books. So those are how to draw manga books. So those were back when I was like 14, 15 years old. I bought those. Those are really difficult to get hold of now, actually. They don't print them anymore. And there were loads of them. You could buy, I think there was like 100 different versions that you could buy. But those were really kind of where I started with my learning to do manga kind of art journey. So there's a few of them.
I've got to ask though, why is the big book of baby names there?
Okay, so I actually had this book for many years. So the reason I have a baby names book, I actually freaked out my partner at the time because I bought a baby names book. He thought I was trying to tell him something. I wasn't. I bought the baby names book to give me ideas for characters because I used to kind of I've done like hundreds of comics that I've tried to do over the years. So that was kind of a reference for names for characters. Like I need a name for a character. Let's open it. Let's go to D. Oh, there's where to go. There's some names. Excellent. I've got names for characters now. So yeah, so there's a lot of books there that I don't think there's some that I've not even opened, but I just bought them because it was a book I didn't have. So,
Brilliant. And then the piece de resistance, your newest
yes.
acquisition.
That's my heat press, and I have a sublimation printer which still hasn't been set up yet. It's just sitting there waiting. So this is for me to make more things. So I'm gonna make mouse mats. They arrived this morning, so I'm kind of excited about that. But yeah, this is to help me expand on what I make. So hopefully t-shirts. Although that'll be a bit later on because there's so many like sizings and like fabrics and shapes and things, and I'm kind of a bit nervous on that.
Have you made a toasty yet? As Mr. Pfeiffer's asked.
No toasties yet. Not on the heat press anyway. No, no food will be going onto my heat press unless it's in the shape of like a print or something like that.
So there'll be plenty of DOOTNOOTs then.
There'll be loads of all the DOOTNOOTs. Yeah, so I have plans, lots of plans, and hopefully this will help me expand further into a business. So I'm looking forward to playing with those.
They are good fun.
Yes.
I played about with them when I did photography.
Yeah.
I still have. I've got the heat press still sitting in the workshop somewhere. It's semi broken.
Oh no!
The stem bit at the back came apart, so
no.
I can't raise it and lower it. Technically, it still works. You still get pressure and stuff, but you can't set the pressure and such. But
oh dear.
Yeah. Have I made a toasty? No, I've not. But yeah, they are lots of fun. Like I used it for doing foiling for
nice, yes,
on laser cut bits of wood.
That might be something I could look into.
Yeah, with the heat press. So it was like heat set foil that I used.
Nice.
It was Todo foil. I think it was called Todo.
Todo. I'm just gonna highlight that and steal that. Hang on.
Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
Awesome. Stolen.
There we go. So you've got lots planned. You've got,
I do have lots.
2021 seems to be like it's going to be a fun year for you.
Yes.
It seems like
fingers crossed.
You see, it sounds like you've got lots of plans in place.
I do, yes. Hopefully they all pan out. Yeah. So I've got my crafty Seskimo. I've got my artful Seskimo. I'm gonna have my Seskimotes, and there's gonna be another thing that I'm gonna be doing.
Ooh, is that a secret thing?
It's not really. Basically, my plan is to make commercially usable SVG files for like art and fonts. I'm going to be making fonts. But that's kind of going to be after I've got everything else set up first. So that's kind of going to be my probably the end of the year type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, fingers crossed it works.
Yeah, well, that sort of thing is always good. Because people are always wanting things like that, and
Exactly,
fonts are good as long as you know how to license them.
Yeah.
Because that's the that font is the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, what time is it? Oh my God, we're nearly at midnight. Told you we could talk for hours. Told you we could talk for hours.
I am the expert of waffling.
We're like, because we're not going to be able to fill 3 hours.
Like, I'll say, hi, I'm an artist. All right, see ya. Bye. I'm done. That's me.
Yeah. So, we've got a few questions.
Yeah.
First of all, what is your favourite DOOTNOOT?
I mean, I pretty much like them all, but my favourite one is a very specific one. Greg's did a limited edition DOOTNOOT,
Oh.
and they don't do it anymore, and it really upsets me. And I think it was a banoffee one. It was like banana flavored, cream filling, and toffee on the outside, and it was gorgeous. And they don't do it anymore, and it upsets me.
Oh no.
So that is that's my favorite one that I'll never have again. Yeah, I didn't think QCat would like that as soon as I said it was banana.
Mhm. So the Greg's discontinued banana DOOTNOOT is your favorite.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
And the other big question that we always ask here is, could you recommend us a few streamers that you'd like us to go and see?
No, you're all
No.
rubbish. I can't recommend anyone. No. I mean, this is. I'm glad that you didn't ask me for 3. You just went.
We stopped that.
Yeah, it was just
I
like-
realised that no one can ever just give me 3.
I was just going to flip the table, going, no, I'm not doing 3. No. So I have got. I mean, I know everyone says this, but it was like so hard, just kind of trying to figure out who to narrow down to. So I kind of had to go with my homies, with my Ragged Ann crew. So I've got, starting off, I've got the really annoying QCat in the chat. QCat she's just awful. She's the worst. QCat's lovely. QCat is great. She does crochet. She does cross stitch. That's the word. She sometimes does gaming. Sometimes does stream raiders. It's just fun hanging out with her. I make you sick. You make me sick, QCat.
You've got such a lovely relationship.
I know, we've kind of fostered this absolute hate of each other, but secretly we're actually, I'm going to leave Genix for QCat. It's it's been decided.
Not exactly. It's not a shock.
So QCat is the first one. The next one is QCat's my first mod. My second mod is LoveCat78. So she's lovely as well. She's also, I just wanted to say this, she's actually doing a charity. She's raising money for charity all of January. It's for MAD, which is Mothers Against Drink Driving. So she's doing that as well. So I do recommend, if you can go and say hi to her. You don't. Obviously, if you can't give money, that's fine. But I just wanted to give her a little extra shout out there, just because she is doing that. But she's lovely as well. She's another one who does crocheting and gaming. It's funny the amount of people who I go to who do crocheting. Like I don't do crocheting at all. I obviously have this desire for crocheting. But so LoveCat is another great person, and she's just lovely.
It's just that black magic. It totally is.
It is. It's the black. I'm hypnotized by the knots that turn into things, So the next one, it's got to be the Drive, Canada's #1 scoreboard, 3D scoreboard artist. He's, I mean, he was one of the first ones to put up with my stuff. Yes, he is officially.
As are you. By the way, the new streamer of the year 2020. Forgot to mention that at the beginning.
Oh yeah. I was so drunk. I screamed at my friends I was still on the Skype and I was watching the thing. And I was like, "Oh, it's going to be Work Lettuce, isn't it? I mean, the new person. It's going to be Work Lettuce." And then you went, "Oh, it's going to be Seskimo." And I was like, and all my friends were like, "Jesus Christ, what was that?" But yeah, go back to the Drive. It's not about me anymore. The Drive is just, I mean, like I said, he was one of the first people who I started being mean to on the stream, actually. I don't even know why I started being mean to him. Like, I think I'd been into his stream a couple of times, and then it was like, and I was kind of a bit mean to him there. And then he came into my stream, and I was even more mean to him. And he stuck around, so I was like, all right, I'll see how far I can take the meanness. But so he's great, and you should all go check him out. And then the next one, it's gonna be I've got a whole list of people in my head, and I'm trying to decide who to go with next. Marked Chords, I think has to be the next one, because he's a fairly recent member to the Insanity clan. Him and his lovely wife Elizabeth have recently joined our fold, and Mark is great. He plays music, and he plays games as well. But I really enjoy going to his music streams, mostly because it's Disney music, and I'm a big fan of Disney music. But it's a really great fun time. And so yes, if you like music, I've recently discovered that I like having music on in the background from Twitch streams when I'm doing work. That seems to be one of those type of things where I'm not constantly trying to jump into the chat and chat all the time while I'm working. So so Mark is a great guy to follow, so make sure to follow him. And then we've got the next one is someone who isn't really part of this community. He's actually I mentioned him previously. He's actually the guy who was mentoring me several years ago. His name is the Dark Cloak. And I've known him for years and years, and he Twitch streams, and he's really good. He's an amazing artist. Like, even back when I knew him years ago, he is just a phenomenal artist. He's a completely different artist to me. He does like horror art and like gothic noir art, but he's so detailed, and so the stuff is really just high quality, and he's just a really nice guy as well. He's such a nice guy. So definitely give him a follow. And there's another one who's not really part of this community, but I'm just going to slip it in anyways, is my friend Jeezev, who is a gamer, but he's a really nice gamer. He's actually one of the reasons why I started watching Twitch years ago. Like, he's the only reason I came on to watch Twitch, was to watch him on a Thursday night gaming. And he's just a great guy. And
Such a lovely guy.
He's so wonderful.
Yeah.
I forget that you know him as well.
I lived with him for like 6 months.
I keep forgetting all of the connections in Edinburgh for everyone who knows everyone. It's like he's a lovely guy. He's he's fun to watch as well. He was playing Sonic for a little bit, which set off my anxiety because he had the bubbles going, and you know that sound that when you got the bubbles. That was a whole anxiety-inducing moment on his stream. It was great fun. So he's a really great guy as well. So definitely go check him out. I think that's it. I mean, there's more, but I think that's it for what I said I would do today. So yes. Have I missed anyone? I mean, you could follow Genix as well, but he doesn't stream. He streamed once. So if you ever want to maybe at some point ever catch Genix, he might stream again. Who knows? But yeah, so there we go.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, so what is your stream schedule?
My stream schedule. Sorry, I just realized that my headphones went mute. So I don't know if you were talking at me for a bit. And my headphones just went mute. That's fine. My stream schedule is Saturdays are pretty much a guarantee from 9 p.m. till 11 or 12, depending on how tired I am, how sick of the chat I am. And so Saturdays are kind of that's the just chatting one. And then at the moment, my weekday crafting arty streams are a little bit whenever I can do it, basically. So I'm going to try and do them on a Wednesday night. for now. See how that goes. So that'll probably be around 8 p.m. Till I get bored of the chat. So that's kind of it at the moment. But that's probably going to change with lockdown and everything like that. But that's my plans at the moment.
Brilliant. Oh, thank you so much for joining me tonight. You've been an amazing guest. I hope you've had fun.
I have. I hope I didn't bore everyone with my art stories.
Oh, you definitely have not. There you go, 9.5. I love you. I hate you. Go away. Please don't go. I love you. Please stay. I hate you.
Exactly. That is exactly me on a stream.
Oh, it's been absolutely amazing having you.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
It's been so much fun just learning more about you and kind of showing people what your art journey, your creative journey has been. You know, especially as kind of more of a newer streamer to Twitch. You know, and kind of coming in, kind of post-pandemic starting.
Yes. No, this has been a lot of fun. The second time round.
So it's 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 going to be great just to see you growing. Cause it's just going to as you keep doing what you're doing, see keeping your community growing as as much as you're mean to them.
I like to think it's a back and forth.
Keep them mean, keep them keen. Is it
exactly? My philosophy on life.
But yes. But it's definitely been so good tonight, and looking forward to that. Guys, for next week's guest, it's going to be Worklet 3. It's going to be on. So we're going to be having some fun next week.
Nice.
So tune in for that. That'll be next Wednesday. Hoping that Twitch does not die on us next Wednesday, next Thursday even. Thursday. Yeah, we will hope that we don't have Twitch dying on us. If you have any works that you would like to put into the weekly, stick it in on the Discord. Love to see it. Always be good. Oh, and we are going to go and raid Marked Cards.
Woo!
Because he's doing some singing.
Excellent.
We're having some fun over there. So,
Time for Disney.
Totally. So let's get the raid on, guys.
Raid.
Is the raid actually going?
I don't see it. Hang on.
Oh.
Is it not working?
I think the raid thing's broken again. I had this problem last on Wednesday stream. Where my raid was not working at all. Yeah, I used the /raid.
Night, QCat.
Because now it's going to start coming up and say that oh no, there we go.
There
We're
it
working
is.
out. We're working out. That's fine. This is working this time. Yay. Good. Whew. Whew, guys. Whew. Right, that's fine. Don't have to worry too much there. Right, there we go, guys. Let's jump over to the screen here. There we go. So thank you, everyone. So don't jump here. We'll jump back here for a second. Thank you, everyone. We'll say goodbye. We'll wave everyone off. Wave off. Have yourself a great weekend, guys. We'll see you on other people's streams. Seskimo streaming tomorrow night, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So check yourselves on there. But yeah, let's go and say hi to Marked Cards. You've all got the raid commands.
Jennings just waving in the back.
Jennings right there. Yay, right, let's jump here to this one here. And we'll see you all over there. Thank you, everyone. Bye.